It's a windy but spring-like day here at Doug Kingsmore Stadium in Clemson, South Carolina. It's the 2018 season opener. The Clemson Tigers in the top 25 in all the national polls, taking on the tribe of William and Mary out of the Colonial Athletic Association. And hi, friends, so good to have you on board, and along with former Tiger All-America Kyle Parker, Pete Hannity with you. So here we go, Kyle. 2018 beginning. You're excited to be back on campus for another opening day, and for this Clemson Tigers team, a ball club that'll have a lot of familiar bats in the lineup from the past year or two, but from a pitching standpoint, well, starting pitching is something that Monty Lee and company have to identify. There's not one guy on the current staff that made a start in 2017.
Yeah, experience is the question. I don't think talent is the issue. Hennessy, I've seen him throw before. He's got terrific stuff. I think they just need to go out there, harness all their energy, and focus and play ball.
And Hennessy, you mentioned Jacob Hennessy, the sophomore from Spartanburg County in South Carolina. He'll make his first career start as a collegiate. Had a really good year as a freshman out of the bullpen and bringing a lot of heat.
Yeah, I think it's key that he makes this William & Mary offense earn everything they get. He's got a terrific team behind him. He needs to go out there and throw strikes and trust that they can make plays, and that'll make it a lot easier for him.
A year ago, Hennessy with 37 strikeouts in just over 30 innings pitched. And we'll talk as we go on today about an off-speed pitch he added during the offseason. Now, among those he'll face in the lineup for the Tribe is an outfielder who's now a sophomore, Brandon Raquet. He had a really good debut season at the plate for this William & Mary team.
Yeah, 337 hitter in the 2017 season. He is a left-handed hitter, though. Facing a left-handed pitcher makes it a little bit more difficult, but he's definitely a guy who knows his way around the batter's box, and it poses probably the biggest threat to this Clemson Tiger team.
He's their leading returning hitter and their best threat on the base pass. A William & Mary team a year ago that hit 264. As for the Tigers in the field, the outfield from left to right, Drew Wharton's been in the program for a while, starts in left. Bryce Teodosio, a freshman, getting his first collegiate start in the season opener, and of course Seth Beer in right. The infield, Bird moving over to third primarily this year after playing a lot at second. Davidson and Green up the middle. Chris Williams playing first. He'll play a lot early in the season coming off a shoulder injury. You'll see him behind the plate eventually. And there's Kyle Wilkie, who will catch Jacob Hennessy, the left-hander, one of two the Tigers will start this weekend, going with Jake Higginbotham in Sunday's season finale. Ryan Hall steps in. He's a senior right fielder for this William & Mary team. First pitch of the campaign to center field. Teodosio getting an early opportunity in his Clemson career, his first collegiate putout. And we're underway here at Doug Kingsmore.
Yeah, I like Teodosio. Great jump off the bat, reading the ball off the bat. Gets back there and makes a play. I've seen him play. Terrific outfielder. I think he's pretty advanced defensively for a young kid.
Brandon Raquet, the outfielder and left fielder for this William & Mary team, grew up just outside of State College, Pennsylvania. So a lefty on lefty, and one of just a couple in their starting lineup. They are primarily a right-handed team, both in terms of their hitters and their arms. They really don't have a reliable lefty out of their bullpen, even though they are starting a left-hander on the hill today. Jacob Hennessy, we told you the off-speed pitch that he added during the off-season, it was a changeup. And Monty Lee saying the other day in announcing that Hennessy would get the start that the reason he added a changeup is what distinguished him from the others in terms of getting the start in the opener. And good morning, good afternoon, and good night. First strikeout of the campaign for the lefty.
Yeah, going right at the hitters, just throwing strikes. I think that's something we discussed before. It's important for him to just establish the strike zone. He doesn't seem like he's letting the anxiety or the nerves of the first start get to him. Just focusing on throwing strikes, and it's paying off for him.
Raquet did strike out 54 times a year ago, kind of a high number for a leadoff hitter in college baseball. So 2 away for Patrick Ryan, third baseman out of McLean, Virginia. William & Mary, a team picked 5th. Actually tied for 5th in the preseason CAA rankings with Elon. On the right side of the infield, Williams, the wind we see blowing in from center field, looking not to be that much of a factor, at least on that pop fly, and that does it for William & Mary in the top of the first. Nothing across, and the Tigers coming to bat. As noted, this opening game, a battle of lefties. Bodie Sheehan on the mound. He's a junior out of Virginia Beach for this William & Mary team. A year ago, 6 victories. He had a 4.58 earned run average. 90 1/3 innings pitched. He made 15 starts a year ago. He's the leader of their staff as they're still trying to get some things figured out both in their starting rotation and their bullpen. Here's what the defense looks like behind them for the William and Mary Tribe, who come off a campaign a year ago when they won 32 games. And on this beautiful day at Doug Kingsmore Stadium, Rickey, Soccer, and Hall from left to right in the outfield. Ryan, we just saw him pop out to end the top of the first. He's at third. Pearson and McDermott up the middle. McDermott, a freshman, making his college debut and getting a start. Matthew Trehub, who also catch in this series, plays first. Hunter Smith, the preseason All-CAA selection, is behind the plate. He and Rickey getting preseason All-Conference honors in their league. And the left-hander on the mound, Sheehan, who we just saw. Here's the Tigers sophomore, Logan Davidson, the switch hitter out of Charlotte, North Carolina. His debut season for Clemson included 12 home runs and 10 stolen bases and 13 tries, and he was used at various parts of the lineup. First pitch swinging, popped up on the infield. The shortstop, Pearson, will put it away for out number one.
Yeah, it seems like both these pitchers are staying in the zone and letting their defenses play behind them, giving or throwing pitches and letting the offense hit them, and really keeping everyone involved in the ball game.
Drew Wharton, now a senior in this Clemson program. And Wharton out of Sewanee, Georgia. 214 a year ago at the plate. And Sheehan's first pitch a little bit outside. We noted a lot of familiar bats in the lineup. Seth Beer is back, Chris Williams. A lot of thump in this Tiger batting order, but still, again, trying to figure out some positions. Left field would be an example of that. And Wharton getting the start there today. Robert Jolly, who's going to DH today, he tells us he's pretty much exclusively an outfielder now when he's not DHing, so his days catching are done. But
yeah, this Clemson Tiger team has a ton of depth at the position, or every position pretty much. They have a lot of experience.
Chopper handled by Ryan, and he gets him by a couple of steps, and that's out number two.
I think it's key, Pete, that these guys just settle down. The challenges of playing on opening day is your adrenaline's just running a lot. So just taking a deep breath and focusing on the small fundamentals and getting comfortable is key to success.
So let's talk about some of the Kyle Parker era here at Clemson and opening day. You commented today when I first saw you, boy, you love opening day for a lot of reasons. I guess you would love it on maybe the one or two opening days you had when it might have been kind of warm as opposed to being frigid. As Seth Beer, again a contender for National Player of the Year, takes ball one.
Yeah, this is the ideal opening day. I've had a lot of different experiences on opening day, some really good, some not so good. But you want to show up to the ballpark on a day like today and play baseball, that's for sure.
That's a fair ball. It'll go into the right field corner, and Beer going to chug around to second and hold there with a two-out double. Seth Beer beginning 2018 in fine fashion. And the Tigers have a man in scoring position here in the home first, and this one hugged the line all the way down.
Oh, yeah. Seth Beer can really swing it. That's why he's, regarded as one of the top players in the country, and definitely a guy that a lot of professional clubs will have their eye on, and he has a bright future, and his swing just works. He knows what he's doing at the plate.
And sets the table for Chris Williams. Williams, who, of course, dealt with a hand injury a year ago, then late in the season hurt his shoulder, and coming off of that, Monty Lee says eventually he'll use Williams at his primary position as a catcher, but wants to play him away from there until then. Let's see if the catcher Smith has a chance, and he does. Willie Mays style, little basket catch for Hunter Smith, so the Tigers leave a man in scoring position. No runs, a hit, nothing across, and the Tigers home first. We head to inning number two. Scoreless as we move to the top of the second. We told you at the outset of the telecast, a wonderful spring-like feel to the air, but a windy day here at Doug Kingsmore Stadium, and we have seen those flags in center field, of course, at half-staff in honor of the awful tragedy in Florida a couple of days ago, but those flags have been pretty much blowing straight in, just right of center, since the late stages of the morning. Hunter Smith, the catcher, who made that basket catch to end the Tigers first, leads things off. Smith, three-year starter for their ball club behind the plate at .269 a year ago. and 6 home runs, one of their better returning power hitters.
Every batter so far, Hennessy has gotten ahead. That's key. He's got to keep doing that.
And 2 straight putouts for Chris Williams. That one just a little bit of a bloop. So as we were saying last inning, you played some opening games here. You were kind of in the same category as Seth Beer in that your freshman year of college should have actually been your senior year of high school in terms of baseball. But any memories of opening day in terms of being frigid? Because more times than not, when you open the middle of February, even here in the upstate of South Carolina, it can be frigid as Tree Hub, the first baseman, stands out.
Well, Pete, I played in Colorado Springs, Colorado one year, and we left Scottsdale, Arizona, where it's perfectly sunny and got snowed out for 4 days in a row and couldn't start the season until a 4-day delay. So that's pretty unfortunate. You can't play baseball in the snow, obviously.
Yeah, and even like in early April at Coors Field in Denver, where you eventually played, we've seen the stories. Anything reminiscent from the Clemson opening days? I guess you would have been here for 3 opening days.
Yeah, 3 opening days. I think what stands out to me is just the excitement. Being a guy coming out of high school, you don't really play in front of all these people.
Wilkie will throw down to first to make it official. Second strikeout for Hennessy.
Yeah, so that makes it challenging. It makes it exciting, but definitely, in unfamiliar territory, you have nerves that you haven't felt before, and you kind of have to put those aside and learn just how to perform and how to play baseball like you've always played it.
Here's designated hitter Colin Lifke making his debut in a William & Mary uniform, and their head coach Brian Murphy says he hopes this guy adds some pop to their lineup after he spent his first 2 years of college baseball at Guilford Tech in Greensboro. At .463 there. We've seen an example, especially in that last couple of pitches to the previous batter Tree Hub, of the changeup that Jacob Hennessy added during the offseason and how tough he can be on lefties with that, and probably some righties too, I would think, going away from them.
Well, that's why left-handed pitchers develop a changeup. You want something other than a breaking ball to throw to a right-handed hitter. A lot of times you look at a left-on-right matchup, you're going to be using your changeup more often. Whenever you have a left-on-left matchup, you'll go more to the breaking ball. So being a starting pitcher, it's nice to have a breaking ball in conjunction with a changeup just to keep them off balance and be able to have something for a right-handed hitter and a left-handed hitter.
See, we noted his work was all out of the bullpen a year ago. His final appearance was in the Tigers' final game on June 3rd against Vanderbilt. A third of an inning in a matchup situation, so how far he can stretch out today will be something we'll keep an eye on. I would suppose they have him on a pitch count as he falls behind here.
Yeah, early in the year, you have the guys on pitch counts. You don't want them to go out there and really slave. You want to let them have some energy for later on in the year.
Davidson and Williams with the stretch. And the Tribe going in order for a second straight innings. Inning and a half in the books here in the 2018 season opener. We're scoreless. Some of the nice turnout we have here at Doug Kingsmore Stadium on opening day with Kyle Parker, Pete Hannity with you as the Tigers come up to bat here in the home second inning. By the way, fans like that may have gone to ClemsonTigers.com. You should too, to see all the promotions and all kinds of things they're doing this year for fans here at Doug Kingsmore, and a variety of different ticket promotions and some concessions things they're doing as well. So check that out at ClemsonTigers.com. And certainly make plans to join us out here throughout this 2018 campaign. Robert Jolly stands in. He's the DH in the ball game. The senior out of Myrtle Beach, played at Carolina Forest High School. Of course, his dad's a high school baseball coach, so he's one of the more savvy Clemson players. And a year ago did a really nice job getting on base. So in a DH role, Monty Lee today has him batting fifth, but I would suppose you'll see him moved all over the lineup, especially with that lefty bat. When a righty's on the hill, I would think you'll see him higher in the lineup.
Yeah, definitely a guy who has a lot of versatility. You can move him around the lineup, but also defensively in the field. Like you mentioned, a guy who is brought up around the game of baseball, and you can definitely see it just by his mannerisms and how comfortable he is out there on the field.
Behind 1-2 in the count. Swing and a miss. Smith will throw it down to first. And out number one here in the Tigers' second is the first strikeout of the ball game, recorded by the left-hander Brody Sheehan. As you see, that one a little bit of an off-speed stuff, and as a righty batter, you face a lefty, you know he's coming off speed. I would just think, as opposed to a right-hander on a righty batter when he comes off speed, when you're a lefty batter like Jolly against a left-hander, the off-speed stuff is just devastating.
Things just visually, it gets a little different. The guy's throwing from kind of behind you, and that presents a challenge. Things don't look as though they would whenever you're just hitting batting practice or, per se, hitting off a guy who has a normal delivery style.
Grayson Bird, another left-handed hitter in this Tigers lineup, the third baseman, taking strike 2. Of course, began his college career at LSU.
Yeah, I really like Grayson Bird's swing. He has a great trigger mechanism with his leg kick that kind of keeps him on time.
3-pitch strikeout of Bird for Sheehan, 2 straight a year ago. Sheehan had 78 strikeouts in 90 1/3 innings. Looked like it came off speed a little bit that time, but certainly was working the outside.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's difficult, too. It's really hard to simulate gameplay in practice. You see it a lot in the major leagues. You play 30 games before you actually play a game that counts. These guys don't have the benefit of doing that. They play against each other all the time, and there's just a different element when there's people around. There's not a cage around you when you're hitting, and it may take a while for these bats to warm up on both sides.
And as Kyle Wilkie, the sophomore catcher, stands in, the point you make, a lot of the guys were commenting the other day about how they were just so excited, as you are after a preseason, to see another team's pitcher and to, you know, face some other guys, see other guys from other teams swinging the bat and running down those balls that are hit, as that one waved at and missed.
Yeah, good swing. They're working away. These guys just have to stay within themselves and use the whole part of the field. And when I say that, just up the middle. Whenever you're in here, your adrenaline's running, you get a tendency to pull off pitches a little quick. So just calm down and focus on hitting the ball right back up the middle.
Sheehan again ahead of a batter, 1-2, looking to strike out the side here in the home second. And he rocks and fires. And nice job at third by Ryan. Up with it on to first, and Treehub going down to pull it in. And the Tigers retired in order in their half of inning number 2. We are scoreless here at Doug Kingsmore Stadium. The Tigers won 42 a year ago, trying to start this campaign in fine fashion as we head to the third. Brian Murphy begins his 5th season at the helm at William & Mary. He was an assistant there in 2013 and then took the reins the following campaign, originally from Easton, Massachusetts, and chasing career win number 120 today. The Tribe is a ball club that won the CAA in 2016. They made 4 NCAA trips. In 2014, his first year, he went against the College of Charleston and Monty Lee for the title in that league. That one just barely foul off the bat of their center fielder, Owen Socker, who hit .323 a year ago and returns as one of the handful of players in their lineup who had better than 300 in 2017.
Both offenses seem extremely aggressive, swinging at first pitches. Maybe they're just trying to find their groove and get comfortable. I know as a hitter, you want to not feel pressured or not feel coached to do one specific thing. You just want to find yourself.
Hennessy's 0-1. That'll even the count up. Brian Murphy told me before the game that his team's approach is at-bat oriented. I don't know if I've ever heard a coach tell me it in that sense. In other words, very situational. They're not an overly powerful team. They think that Lipke, the DH, can add some pop, and they're not necessarily a team that runs a whole lot. But at-bat oriented, meaning maybe the approach early on against Hennessy, a guy making his first career start, was to maybe chase the first pitch, knowing that he'd develop some off-speed stuff during the offseason. And that'll stay foul.
I would have to assume that they want to prove or make him prove that he can throw strikes. But it seems like he's coming right in and right at them, and now he's forcing them to be aggressive. One of the keys to his success is just getting ahead. Continue to have that pitch, batters count in his favor.
Hennessy, of course, his first collegiate start today, but all throughout his days at Dorman High School over in Roebuck, South Carolina, he was a starter, as just about every guy who makes it to the collegiate level at one point was a starter as a high schooler, and that's a swing and a miss. for out number 1 here in the top of the third, and for Jacob Hennessy, his third strikeout so far.
Yeah, I love to look at body language. You just see Jacob Hennessy. He seems super comfortable out there, and he looks like he's started many games before.
But in high school, you only go 7 innings and not 9. So therein lies the question of if he'll be able to kind of stretch things out as the season goes on. He told me the other day that he plans to try to work 9 every day. You just want to look at the kid and kind of just give him a pat on the shoulder and say, that's youthful optimism at work right there.
It is optimistic, but a great mindset. As a position player, you want to go out there and play behind a guy who has the confidence and the mentality of being a winner.
I'm going to stay just a little bit low and in to Matt McDermott, the freshman second baseman, making his debut. In high school, he was a .394 hitter, stole 48 bases, so he's a guy they'll probably try to utilize his speed, and maybe right now, as he'll likely get 2 out of this. And the throw back in, nearly off the bag came McDermott. How about that for a first at bat in college? And Matt McDermott with a double. They're going to want to save that baseball. Take another look.
Yeah, he just sends one right down the line. Hennessy probably missed his spot a little bit trying to get in on his hands, but turns out a great piece of hitting and, way to run the bases, getting to second base.
First hit in the ball game for the Tribe evens things up in that category. Both hits have been doubles. Seth Beer for the Tigers in the home first. Now McDermott with 1 out here in the third. And here's Zach Pearson, who would have been their starting second baseman, moved over to short. Davidson thought about third, throws to first. Williams the scoop. Had a nice job by the Tigers first baseman for out number 2. And that's a guy who, again, by trade is a catcher, Williams, but he did a really nice job saving an errant throw that time.
He's really comfortable at first base. I think this was a great job by the base runner at second, reading this high hop and advancing to third. Usually when you see a ball in front of you and you're a runner on second base, you're supposed to stop. You read that high hop, it gives you a little extra time to move to third base.
So McDermott moves 90 feet closer, a 2-out runner at third for this William & Mary team that a year ago averaged just over 6 runs per game. Hennessy trying to work through his first difficulty, and this is first collegiate start. Back to the top of the order, and Ryan Hall, who flied out to center on the very first pitch of this 2018 campaign. Bryce Teodosio, the freshman, in his first collegiate contest, recorded the putout. Makes count 2-1 as you saw the lead by McDermott. Now, I don't know if that's that effective with a lefty, because you really can't distract the pitcher, but what a nice pitch that was, painting the corner.
Yeah, your primary goal on third base is just to be able to score on a pass ball. There's 2 outs, you're going to be running on contact, so you just want to get your distance down the line and be heads up for a ball in the dirt.
Hennessy would love to get his 4th strikeout of the game right here and leave McDermott at third. Called strike 3, paints the inside corner, and he gets Hall looking. That'll do it for the Tribe here in their half of inning number 3. They get a hit, but they leave a runner on third. Jacob Hennessy 4 Ks through 2.5. 8-9-1 coming up for the Tigers. We head to the bottom half of the third inning in a scoreless game in this opener for 2018, and Monty Lee embarking on year number 3 at the helm of the Tigers. The distinction of having won conference championships in 2 different leagues. Of course, his debut season at Clemson led to that ACC title. 86 wins so far. And the fellow in the other dugout we introduced you to earlier, Brian Murphy, well, those two, of course, won against each other for a few seasons as head coaches in the Colonial Athletic Association. Lee was at Charleston, Murphy at William & Mary, as Jordan Green leads things off and offered at that one for strike 1. And the 2 head coaches in this game were head-to-head in the second longest game in college baseball history. Off-speed pitch, and the count goes 0-2 on Green. 27 innings, end of the regular season in 2014. It was like to play 27 innings.
I I played 20 innings in L.A. We ran out of position players due to pinch hitting at bats and had to put a left-handed pitcher in right field to finish the game.
Wow.
I think there was 100 people in the stands at the end.
Yeah, because they all left in the 7th inning to beat the traffic like they do at Dodger Stadium. Looked like that one truly painted the corner. Green doesn't agree, but he's a strikeout victim for out number 1. So here's Bryce Teodosio to face the left-hander Sheehan. Teodosio, a highly regarded freshman for this Tiger team. Really talented guy. He's number 113 freshman in the nation by the perfect game service out of Malden High. Grew up just outside of Simpsonville, South Carolina. Getting the start in center field, and he looks at strike 1. And one of those unique guys, a la Ricky Henderson, he bats right, but throws left. You just don't see that often.
But like Ricky Henderson, he can run, and that is definitely beneficial. A guy who can play the outfield, plays center field, he can move. I really like Teodosio. I think he's got a ton of upside. But just like any freshman, you're gonna, take your lumps in the batter's box. It's gonna take you a while to get comfortable and, see the talent that you're playing against and adjust to it.
Brian Murphy would love to see his pitcher Sheehan have another 1-2-3 inning. On the right side, McDermott, one freshman to first, dug out nicely by a guy who also plays some catcher, Tree Hub. And that's out number 2. As the freshman McDermott throws out the freshman Teodosio at his first collegiate at bat.
Yeah, these pitchers are doing a great job of locating, getting ground balls, getting ahead of the count. It's making it really tough on both offenses.
Top of the order, Logan Davidson. Now a sophomore, the shortstop. Popped out to his opposite number. Pearson, the William & Mary shortstop, back in inning number 1.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what adjustments this Clemson Tiger offense makes this second time around. Maybe they want to see some more pitches and get comfortable.
Each pitcher is allowed a hit. Sheehan has struck out 3. The Tiger starter, Jacob Hennessy, has recorded 4 strikeouts so far. And Monty Lee talked about it the other day in the preseason scrimmages. His pitchers were way ahead of his hitters, but that kind of tends to be the case on any level of baseball at this time of the year. That was quite a rip. Watch out over there in the William & Mary dugout. Looks like everyone's okay, but it's just tough to kind of come out of the box as a hitter.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like I said earlier, it's tough to simulate in-game pitching. Everything's different whenever there's people in the stands, your adrenaline is running, and there's a live guy on the mound.
No doubt. Michael Goldak, the fellow number 20 you saw fall down there, is probably getting a little bit of ribbing from his teammates, but whatever you have to do to stay out of a hard shot like that.
Yeah, just put some dirt on it. If it hits you, don't rub it. That's what they say.
2-2 pitch. Just gets a piece to stay alive. And it's understandable. You've got a lineup with some freshmen, Teodosio. There's some others who have a lot of promise with this Tiger team. Guys you'll see getting out there sooner than later. Sam Hall, an outfielder, Matt Cooper, some of the newcomers, and some of the guys returning who are veterans on this team trying to pick it up at bat as well. Opposite way that time, and another foul ball. Of course, Davidson has the unique distinction of having now his dad, Mark Davidson, a former Tiger, on the Clemson staff.
Yeah, Mark Davidson, a lot of experience, played in the big leagues, knows what he's talking about. And he really schooled Logan on, just the fundamentals of the game. Obviously, Logan's extremely talented, but you can see here his 2-strike approach. He's just trying to put the ball in play, shortening up his swing.
Swings and misses there. It was a foul tip held onto by the catcher, Smith. A year ago as a freshman, Davidson struck out 53 times. That's the first time he goes down on strikes here in 2018 as we're scoreless heading to the 4th. As we challenge you to find the Oculus in that picture, we return to Doug Kingsmore Stadium for the start of the 4th inning, and the folks wearing the blue today, that's the first base umpire, Craig Barron. There you see the guy over at third, Jeremy Dupree, and you saw our list, Danny Everett calling balls and strikes. At second base, you notice on that list John Mary, who of course spells his last name like it's Yuletide season, so no doubt has gone through an entire life getting ribbed in that respect. as Hennessy starts out facing their top returning hitter, Brandon Rickey, the sophomore left fielder out of Boalsburg, Pennsylvania. Rickey struck out swinging in his first at-bat of this 2018 campaign. This one to center field, read nicely by Teodosio, and a couple of opportunities handled successfully so far by the freshman for the Tigers out in center.
Yeah, what you can see with both pitchers is they're throwing multiple pitches and they're hitting their spots. They're not giving these offenses much to hit or, much opportunity to put the barrel on the baseball.
Patrick Ryan going the opposite way, and that's going to fall into right field for the second hit in the ball game for the Tribe, and Ryan is now 1 out of 2. So a 1-out base runner for William & Mary. We told you they really don't run a whole lot. A year ago, this guy attempted just 4 stolen bases, successful 3 times. That time just going down and getting one of those Hennessy off-speed pitches.
Yeah, just missed a little bit over the plate. As long as you're staying down in the zone, you don't really pose a threat of letting them drive the ball deep. You stay down in the zone, allowing them to hit a hard line drive or a ground ball.
Ripped to the left, it's going to fall in. Wharton over there to get it, doing a nice job to hold the runner Ryan at second. And a nice hand from the home crowd for the defensive effort out in left field by Drew Wharton, but now first and second. And just one away is Hunter Smith picking up his first hit of the campaign, a hard single.
Yeah, Jacob left that ball up a little bit, but a terrific job cutting it off in left field and getting it in, holding that runner at second base.
Here's the first baseman, Treehub, one of the 2 lefty batters in their lineup, with Rickey, the left fielder. Treehub striking out in inning number 2, his first time up. Wilkie, it looked like he'd gone down to stop that. The runners will advance as that one gets away. Let's see how they score that. And so now men in scoring position, and just 1 out still for the Tribe. I really thought he had gone down on. It's going to be scored a wild pitch. But from behind, we obviously see what happened.
Yeah, that's a ball you would like to keep in front of you. Just got a little slippery and the runners are able to advance. I think it's key that, Hennessy just keeps his confidence. He has to stay down in the zone, trust the catcher that will keep it in front of him next time.
Treehub hit .237 a year ago. Drove home 21. Chance to get a couple right here if he can get at least a single. Hennessy, of course, used to pitching from the stretch for all of his work he did last year, coming out of the bullpen. Treehub stands 6'1", 195. Gets ahead in the count here, 2-1.
So 1-1's a count that, as a pitcher, you really want to control. Now you're sitting 2-1. You want to throw a strike in that 1-1 count. That oftentimes tells you how you're feeling about your breaking pitch. If you could throw your breaking pitch for a strike in the 1-1 count, it really gives you an upper hand.
That one stays away, and count goes to 3-1. Let's see what he does here with first base open, but he does have lefty and lefty, and a right-handed hitter, and a good one with power, Colin Lipke, waiting on deck.
Yeah, you obviously don't want to give in here. You have an open base. Don't give them anything to hit. With runners in scoring position, you can kind of be a little bit more fine trying to locate on the blacks of the plate.
A year ago, opposing hitters hit .274 against Hennessy, but you've got to qualify that with the fact that as a reliever, he only recorded 30 2/3 innings, and it almost seems like when a reliever gives up a hit, it's like double the penalty because a starter obviously is going to.
Well, as a reliever, you do
a lot more at-bats or batters against.
Yeah, correct. You do get put in a lot of pressure situations, too. You come in the game with runners on base, and you're familiar with the feeling of that.
Treehub awaiting the payoff pitch. Stays alive.
So that's a 3-2 breaking ball. He's not giving in. Knows he has a base open. That would set up a potential double play with 1 out that could ultimately get you out of the inning.
Again, the 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Big strikeout with One out, runners on second and third. And that is the 5th recorded in the game for Jacob Hennessy.
Just a fastball up in the zone. Gets Tree up to swing right through it. And he's on to the next one. We got 2 outs, runners on second and third. Also, you have a base open. You don't want to stay in the middle of the plate. You can be fine. You can work your off-speed pitches in different counts. But obviously, getting ahead in the count is crucial.
Grounded out to shortstop his first time up. Colin Lipke, the junior college transfer, in his debut for William and Mary. On deck, you've got Owen Socker, who hit better than 300 a year ago. Looks like Hennessy is going to get out of it. Davidson, plenty of time. Williams might have come off the bag ever so slightly, but gets his foot on there, and Jacob Hennessy works out of a jam in which he had second and third and 1 out, but able to get the strikeout, then induce the ground out. So middle of the 4th, a scoreless game here at Doug Kingsmore. Great day to be out at the ballpark. And those folks, obviously, you can suppose that they've done the scheduling thing right, and they don't have any Friday afternoon classes, especially at this time of the year in the spring. Tigers trying to break through here against Brody Sheehan. Just the 1 hit against Seth Beer, who is due up in this inning. Brian Murphy, his team not only playing the Tigers to start out here in a weekend set, they'll also face ACC foes Virginia and NC State later this year, and the Maryland Terrapins now in the Big Ten, so some Power 5 schools ahead. Drew Wharton standing in, and that one looks like Sheehan took something off on the first pitch.
Yeah, that was a changeup right there. And this is where you see things like your adrenaline running. You're just a little ahead of that. You don't see the breaking spin or the spin of the off-speed pitch, and you're just a little ahead of it. You just have to relax and stay within yourself.
Wharton grounding to third his first time up.
I think there's a testament to both pitchers. They seem to be working both sides of the plates and throwing strikes. It is making it really challenging on both offenses.
Brody Sheehan, one of the few starters with experience in this entire ballpark. We told you about Clemson's lack of experience among their starting staff, and William and Mary. Well, there was a couple of guys who had multiple starts last season. That one well struck by Wharton, but nonetheless, it's a 1-2 count. Interestingly enough, the starter today, Sheehan, and the guy that'll go tomorrow had identical earned run averages a year ago at 4.58 for the lefty Sheehan, and for the right-handed pitcher Jamie Sarr, who the Tigers will see in that 2 p.m. scheduled first pitch Saturday afternoon. 2-2. It'll stay that way. Wharton will be playing a lot of outfield this year. We told you the senior out of Sewanee, Georgia.
And I think just to keep it simple, the common goal just needs to be to have a quality at bat. Wharton 2-2. He's seen 5 pitches thus far. That's going to pay off for him in the future, just seeing those pitches, making Sheehan work, and getting the pitch count up.
Treehub gave it a look, but as you see, the wind might have taken that a little bit further back than initially was headed, as it's actually not as fierce as it was earlier in the ball game. That breeze that was,
yeah, there's usually a swirling wind in here. Once you see something hit down the right field line, trust me, I know from learning to play right field here, everything blows out towards the bleachers, so a ball that you see might be landing in play is going to drift towards, you know, the lake side, more towards out of play.
Wharton doing a good job staying alive. The third base coach for the Tigers, Greg Starbuck, will now have to put something in the jar in the Kangaroo Court.
Greg's the hitting coach, not the fielding coach.
No.
So I don't think you can really rag on him too much. So this is terrific at bat, regardless of the results. Coming out here, making them throw pitches and works, it helps for your team behind you. These guys get to see him, and they also get to make adjustments.
2-2. Right field. And battling the wind, but eventually pulling it in, is right fielder Ryan Hall for The first out here in the Tigers half of the fourth inning. Well, we told you about the breeze, and just before that pitch, it had picked up a little bit. There were those flags out in right center field, but earlier in this inning, they were just kind of barely waving. And I believe this ballpark, you notice it can be windy in the afternoon, but then it'll die down after sunset in this ballpark.
It's something that you call dead air. It's kind of just stagnant up there, and balls that you see, you know, out during the middle of the day that are carrying, those things start to die, especially, you know, a little moisture in the air. So, yeah, you're right. The wind will stop blowing, especially here later on in the evening.
Seth Beer doubled for the Tigers' only hit. Back in the first inning, he was left stranded with 2 outs there. And that one a mile high on the left side of the infield. Looks like Ryan, the third baseman, will be the one to corral it, and he does. So Cody Sheehan, since that double against Seth Beer, has been on a roll. 2 quick outs here in inning number 4.
Yeah, Sheehan's just changing velocities. Makes it very challenging on the hitters, especially on the first day. Opening day, you're not quite comfortable. You got a guy out there who's really settled in and capable of working both sides of the plate. It makes it a little more challenging.
Chris Williams, Tigers first baseman, looks at ball 1. Williams in the home first. Popped out to the catcher on a pretty nice play by Hunter Smith. Little basket catch over in front of the screen to the right of the home plate area.
Yeah, Williams has got some pop. He can hit the ball a long ways. I think what he's trying to do is just get extension, get those arms out there and catch the ball out in front and be able to drive it.
And Williams falls behind 1 and 2, and for a moment it looked like it might have caught a piece of him, but he's okay as he takes a walk. Actually might have caught a piece of the catcher's face mask.
Yeah, he was right on it. Just saw that breaking ball a little high. His eyes probably just lit up and thought about hitting that ball a long ways.
And
but good swing.
Williams appreciating the life of the catcher. You saw him step out to buy some time. That one's foul on the third base side. And again, that home place etiquette, it's always so interesting to see, as we'll see this hard chopper. And Ryan, who made a top shelf play earlier in the game, pretty nice little slide right there. But, you know, if an umpire takes one off the padding or whatever, the catcher will walk out to the mound. If the catcher takes one off of the mask, the umpire will dust off home plate. The batter will walk out. One of those kind of codes of the game.
Yeah, just
unwritten rules, so to speak.
A little etiquette. It doesn't feel good when you get hit by a ball. I, for one, I didn't like putting on gear and getting behind the plate. That wasn't my forte, and it takes a special individual to do it.
2-2 pop back of home plate again, and folks may forget you came here as a catcher. Probably one of the few guys ever at a major level to be a catcher and a quarterback.
I caught probably 5 bullpens and ended up with bruises all over me. I don't think I was very good, but I reasoned in my mind that I might as well just go play football all year long if I'm going to get this beat up.
This time it does get a piece of Williams. It's a foul ball, and that one looked like it stung. Oh, right off of that leg.
So Sheehan's working the inner part of the plate. He established that early in the game, and now he's just moving it a little in and a little in, and it's tough for the hitters to decipher whether this is a strike, because it has been for the whole game, and now it's just a little bit further in, and you have to swing because you know that he has command to that glove side.
Williams, a guy who knows about pain with a hand injury and a shoulder injury in his recent past, and he'll feel that bruise for a while. But that's a good point. At times the strike zone can shrink or slightly expand as a game. You've got to earn the respect of the home plate umpire if you're a pitcher. 2-2 to Williams. And good job to lay off of that one with 2 strikes.
Yeah, that's tough, especially when you're getting worked on the inner side of the plate. He goes fastball away. Just seemed to miss by a little bit. Good pitch, but it's a ball, so good eye.
Payoff pitch. And ball 4. Williams, a 2-out walk that ends a string of 9 in a row, retired by Bodie Sheehan, the William & Mary pitcher, and the Tigers have a 2-out base runner.
So regardless of what happens this inning, I think it's awesome to note Drew Wharton's at bat. Saw a ton of pitches, made Sheehan work, and then he comes back and has another at bat with Chris Williams, who also sees a lot of pitches, and he's really making Sheehan work. 20 pitches this inning so far.
Robert Jolly was the first of the 4 strikeouts recorded by Sheehan in the ball game. And he falls behind here 0-1. That came back in the Tigers' second inning. Scoreless, as you see. The Tribe leads in the hit count, 3-1. What a great day, though, for opening day. And the wind not so strong that it's annoying in any way. Probably will impact some deep flies, especially to right center. The temperatures in the low 70s. Some clouds around, but we hope we can get this one in and stay dry.
I don't think you could ask for a better day. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it really is. And again, February 16th, and you know full well, all the way really into late March, you can have some chilly days at the ballpark in this area. Lefty checks the runner at first. On the right side, McDermott, the freshman, as Williams went by, and that'll do it for the Tigers here in the home 4th inning. A walk and a man left. We'll head to the 5th. A scoreless ball game. The Tigers and the Tribe out of the CAA. We have ourselves a high-tech control room with some really talented people here at Doug Kingsmore Stadium. We have no idea who the folks you're seeing right there are, the nice people in that picture, but nonetheless, a wonderful telecast unfolding here to start out 2018. The gentleman closest to your picture was our skilled producer-director, by the way, and he does many wonderful things all throughout Clemson athletics when it comes to cameras and microphones and getting things on TV. And along with Kyle Parker, Pete Hannity, back with you, and happy that all the things that needed to be plugged in were plugged in, and we could have ourselves a fine start on the air to this 2018 campaign. And those folks enjoying the day, probably not enjoying how things look so far for the home team, but it is a scoreless ball game. And again, I don't think Monty Lee is all that surprised with a couple of things. That his bats have been a little slow to get going. We talked about that earlier. And, well, that he's gotten a very solid start so far out of Jacob Hennessy, who last inning worked out of a jam. 1 out, runners on second and third, but he came away with a strikeout and a ground out to third. And that left this guy, Owen Socker, the center fielder, on deck. A .323 hitter a year ago. So he will lead things off here in the top half of inning number 5 for William & Mary.
Yeah, Money has to be extremely encouraged with Jacob Hennessy's performance tonight. He's getting ahead of the count, throwing strikes, and I feel like that's huge.
.407 on-base percentage last year for Socker, who grew up just outside of Washington, D.C. in Vienna, Virginia. Went to James Madison High, really good high school for producing athletes over the years. And Hennessy falling behind 2-1. Just 9 walks, though, drawn last season by Socker. Right field, that's going to get down. Beer giving it a chase, and he'll get the throw into second. Wide turn at first, but Socker will remain there. A leadoff single, though, to start things out in the top of the 5th for the Tribe.
Yeah, this pitch just sliced right down the right field line. Good piece of hitting. It feels like that's what you have to do to be successful offensively. Just settle down, take those balls that are away, hit them to right field, keep your approach right up the middle.
4th hit allowed by Hennessy. And in this case, a leadoff batter. And that's the first time William & Mary has put the leadoff man on so far this afternoon. First pitch swinging is McDermott, the freshman, right center field, and Beer is over. Theodosio was closing fast, but the junior calling off the freshman, and a nice job to reach out just shy of the hill for out number 1.
Yeah, that was a great jump on that ball. Struck pretty well. McDermott already has a double today. Stung that one pretty good into the gap. I think something to note, You look along the fence, that kind of incline that gets a little tricky for the outfielders, but obviously Seth Beer has plenty of experience out there. He knows how to handle that.
Beer making that catch just below those flags we've been showing you that are blowing in a bit, and you wonder how much the wind might have impacted that. Here is Pearson bunting, and it'll go foul. Zach Pearson, their 9th place hitter, their shortstop, who's played a lot of second base in his career. Pretty nice job laying that one down.
Yeah, whenever you're bunting, just the common thought is to keep it on the grass. Once it gets on that dirt, it's more than likely going to roll foul. But not a bad idea. Trying to get the offense started, get on base, get things rolling for the top of the lineup.
Hennessy got him to ground out to short with a man on third. And 1 out back in the 3rd inning. And that was a pretty big deal. This guy hit nearly 320 with runners in scoring position a year ago. So he's as good of a clutch hitter as they have. Of course, batting here with the man at first and 1 away in the top half of the 5th inning for William and Mary. 32 wins a year ago. They were 32-25, 10-17 on the road. Tigers 29-11 in home games in 2017, as Doug Kingsmore has always been a very good home field for this team. Did you feel that confidence as a college player here playing in this ballpark?
You always love playing in your home ballpark. Just you're familiar with all the surroundings. You have your fans.
Rip to left. Wharton's going to have to chase it. It'll head to the wall. We'll keep an eye on the base runner. Socker to third and into second with a 1-out double is Zach Pearson. His first hit in 2018. And for the 2nd straight inning, the Tribe has something going with less than 2 outs. And again, 2nd and 3rd.
Yeah, that was the hardest hit ball all day. Just left it a little too over the plate, and good timing. Really stung that one down there. Great base running to get to second. Now you got runners on 2nd and 3rd with 1 out. A lot of pressure, especially, considering he's been in this situation a couple times during the game. But definitely not the end of the day. You still have to go out there and battle and throw strikes.
And obviously Hennessy wants to get out of the jam to keep the opponent off the board, but just 2 outs away from being able to qualify for the win if the Tigers were to be able to score in the bottom 5th, and indeed if a pitch count maybe makes it so they're not going to push him too far past a 5th or starts. Brooks Crawford, he'll pitch tomorrow. A couple of years ago, you'll remember he got some starts, started that game that the Tigers won in Durham for the ACC title. Didn't have a good outing, but they've got some guys who've been around a little bit. Hennessy so far 52 pitches, so pitch count wise he's probably good for another inning beyond this one, as long as things don't get too out of hand.
Yeah, regardless of what happens, I think there's a lot of positives you can take away. I think it is very challenging for a coaching staff not to have anyone who has started a game and someone that you could just go out there and rely on, especially a Friday starter. But there's a ton of positives you could roll away regardless of what happens.
Tigers play the infield back except for Williams at first, probably looking out for a push bunt as Ryan Hall, the leadoff hitter, 0 for 2 with a fly out to center and a caught-looking strikeout, and he looks at strike number 1.
I think you just need to bear down and worry about getting an out. If you give up a ground ball out and a run score, so be it.
This one in the air to left. Wharton giving chase, looking up, and it's out of here, way out of here. Up above that entryway in the left field grandstand, a 3-run homer by Ryan Hall, giving William & Mary the early, or the 3-0 advantage here in inning number 5. And in this opener in 2018, the Tribe striking first.
He really put a good swing on that. Just left it a little up, Hennessy did, and tagged that one pretty good. It got pretty much all the way up those grandstands in left field, and that's a pretty good poke right there. Good piece of hitting.
Hall among their team leaders a season ago. He had 6 home runs. That's his first here in 18. A no-doubter, as you say. And again, the wind blowing in more from right field, so that one kind of had to cut through the wind, not really go directly into it. But that is certainly one that made some noise. So Hennessy suddenly looks up and sees himself down 3-0. 6 hit in the ball game for the Tribe.
Yeah, I think since the addition to the grandstands is kind of works as a barrier and knocking that breeze down, you were able to hit the ball a lot further to left field with the grandstands being built as compared to when they weren't here.
And your last season was the first season for the grandstands. 2010.
2010, the grandstands were open for business. Before that, it was the fraternity towers, which were
I'm sure there was no heckling that came out of the fraternity towers, assuming there were fraternity guys hanging there.
I don't think left fielders enjoyed playing left field here. I think the interesting part was watching them get built, because the fire marshal would have to come check them. And they would be about 5 stories high before opening day. And then eventually, they would make them cut them down to at least like 2 towers.
There's Riquet that time looking at a strike, and the count goes full 3-2. Brandon Riquet, their top hitter, but 0 for 2 so far in the game. And now 0 for 3, foul tip. Wilkie hangs on. Second time he's struck out. And Jacob Hennessy able to bounce back, giving that home run up by getting Riquet.
You're going to give up runs if you're a pitcher. You're just going to face talented guys, and things are going to happen. You have to just practice being resilient and going out there and competing. You have to have a short memory and go on to the next one.
6th strikeout in the game for Hennessy, but that's going to do it as Monty Lee will come to the mound and make the call to the bullpen. William and Mary, the 3-run homer from Ryan Hall, and that ends up chasing Jacob Hennessy 1 batter later. And so the Tigers will go to the pen and at the very least hope to keep things right here. A 3-0 ball game. It's hard to believe that it's been 8 years and now the 9th season that those left field and left center field grandstands have been up. I mean, it just seems like yesterday they put them up.
Yeah, and it does so much for the ballpark. Fans love it. It's just great creating this environment that everyone enjoys here.
Ryan Miller coming on in relief for the Tigers, the senior out of Venice, Florida. And a year ago in 11 games, a 1-0 record. Recorded a save, a 3.09 earned run average, and 11 strikeouts in those 11 2/3 innings. And just as the starting rotation needs to be set, a lot of questions to be answered in that bullpen as well, with Crawford presumably moving into the full-time starting role. Someone like Miller with a great opportunity, and coming on here for his first assignment here in 2018. Not the worst thing to come into a ball game with nobody on base, and he can just kind of go to work, albeit he will be facing the 3rd place hitter in the lineup, Patrick Ryan.
Yeah, I would have to imagine being a reliever coming in with just no one on base, no pressure. It has to make you feel a little less pressure, especially for that first appearance. You're able to settle down, come in here and throw strikes and get comfortable.
Junior college transfer Miller out of the State College of Florida had a good first half to last season, but then some injuries got in the way in the second half, which is the reason why he only appeared in 11 games. But he will go to work here against the 3rd baseman Ryan, who singled his last time up. This time first pitch swinging. Teodosio runs that one down for out number 3, but the big blow delivered by the Tribe, and Ryan Hall running into one with a couple on base. His first homer of the year, first runs for the Tribe in this opener. That blast, well, they knew it over at third base. Owen Soccer and crew, a 3-0 game. Head to the bottom of the 5th. William and Mary, the 3-0 lead after that 3-run blast by Hall. So Jacob Hennessy, a lot of good things can be taken out of his first career start, but he ends up going 4 2/3 and allowing 6 hits. That big blow, though, the homer, 6 strikeouts, and he didn't walk a batter. So I would think Monty Lee's assessment will be save for a pitch or two. It went pretty well.
Yeah, I would agree with you. You know, located through multiple pitches for strikes, 1 mistake, but hey, it's going to happen. It's life of a pitcher. You got to wipe it off and go to the next one.
Grayson Bird starts things out for the Tigers here in the 5th. He struck out against Bodie Sheehan his first time up. Sheehan in the ball game has recorded 4 strikeouts. He retired 9 straight batters at one stage. And Bird ahead 2-0. Of course, Grayson Bird, one of 2 Tigers in the starting lineup, or sons of former major leaguers. We take a look at him laying off right there. Of course, the Tigers shortstop Logan Davidson, his dad Mark, playing in the bigs primarily with the Twins. This one on the infield. Backing up is the shortstop, and Pearson in short left has it for out number 1. And as you probably also know, Grayson Bird, his dad, a longtime pitcher in Major League Baseball with a lot of teams. Of course, folks in the Southeast got to know him when he pitched with the Braves. Paul Bird, and you'll often see Paul here at the ballpark. And I'm supposing, trying to think, Paul Bird would have been up late 80s around the time Mark Davidson was playing, and perhaps while Paul Bird was with the Indians, he might have gotten there too late after Mark Davidson. But I'm just wondering if perhaps if they faced each other, the dads faced each other. To right field, right center rather, and Soccer pulling that one in.
Yeah, I don't know
retire Wilkie.
If he ever faced Mark. I know Bill Spires, another Clemson guy. They played together. I want to say for the Mets.
Yeah, they were on the Mets at the same time.
And Bill's nephew, Carson Spires, pitcher. Clemson, maybe we'll see him. Relief appearance, who knows?
Carson's dad, Mike, of course, was a Tiger outfielder back in the early 90s. Yeah, Paul Bird definitely faced Bill Spires. And, of course, interestingly, Bill Spires, just like Mark Davidson, in that very interesting father-son deal, because Will Spires is Bill's son. He's a punter on the football team. Bill works with the football staff. And, of course, Mark Davidson now working with the Tiger baseball staff with the son of the team.
And then you have former big leaguer Ben Paulson out there.
He's back, yeah.
He's coaching first base.
Yeah, we're Colorado Rockies East here with you up here, Kyle Parker, and you got Ben Paulson. I mean, I don't know if we want to put a sign up outside on the road that goes by that says Blake Street, but that's Jordan Green. Tried to lay off. Green caught looking his first time up. To third base. Nice job going down to get it by Ryan. He's had some good work over there on the hot corner. And the Tigers going in order yet again here in the 5th inning. Well, Green got some good aluminum on it, but as we head to the 6th, 3-0 Tribe. Well, one pitch leading to that look on the face of Jacob Hennessy, who did a solid job in his first career start, but he is on the hook for the loss at this point with his team trailing 3-0. And that's Jacob Hennessy. It's spelled different than the longtime Clemson baseball PR guy Brian Hennessy, but the social media arm of Clemson Athletics decided they would have some fun, and here is that presentation.
No way. This is my chance. You can do this. Brian, what are you doing? Just getting loose. Thanks for the nod, Coach. You won't be disappointed. What are you talking about? Hennessy to start opening day. That's what you told the media, right?
No, the other Hennessy.
Sorry, Brian.
Oh, the brush with greatness. Out of uniform, that's what Brian Hennessy looks like. I refer to him as Baseball Brian because that's truly what he is. He is a great man of the game, so he is returned to his normal duties. Kyle Parker, who did put on the Clemson uniform, as you know, and quite well, and never had his coach pull him from warming up. And Pete Hannity with you back here at Doug Kingsmore Stadium. And so 3-0 here as we head to the 6th inning. That was really some fine acting right there.
That was high-quality entertainment.
It really was.
I feel like Henny should just hang it up right now. It's not going to get any more funnier than that.
Yep.
Nailed it.
His acting career might have just reached its peak. So folks may know, having seen you around here in the fall, you came back to campus after a long run in pro baseball, and kind of tell me what got you back here and what you've been doing with yourself.
Yeah, I've been back here since the fall semester, helped out with the football team. I'm also going back to school. I'll graduate at the end of this semester, so looking forward to that. But really enjoyed my time out there with the football team, helped them out with a lot of things to do with the offense, so it was very enjoyable.
As we head to the top half of the 6th inning, Miller stays out there for the Tigers. He faces Hunter Smith, the Tribe catcher, who's 1 for 2 in the game. He singled his last time up, was left at second. So 2010, you had that monster year. You get drafted opening round by the Rockies and take it from there.
I was all over the place, Pete, everywhere. I ended up moving back to Arizona, so still have a residence in Scottsdale, Arizona, and really enjoy it out there. But, played in a ton of different leagues, anywhere from North Carolina to California and in Denver for a while. So kind of got taken all over playing baseball.
Smith went, and that's the first strikeout recorded for Miller, and out number 1 here in the 6th inning. Looked like he tried to hold up.
Yeah, you could just see the difference in the styles of pitching. Hennessy, a little more finesse, moving at sides of the plate. Miller, power arm. He's coming right at you.
Brings up the first baseman, Matthew Trehub, for 5th hitter in their order. And he takes ball 1. So, as a resident of Arizona, I think the question beckons, how many times on the golf course has an errant drive or fairway shot hit dead on into a cactus?
Well, if you're assessing my golf game,
yeah,
probably pretty commonly.
Miller nearly got it. Davidson on to first for out number 2. Boy, that one came right back from where it came in a hurry, but quickly 2 outs here in the William & Mary 6th inning. And I would suppose, being based in Arizona, because each year when you reported to Rocky spring training, that's where they did it, so it was convenient. We take another look at that one that was a little bit beyond the reach of Miller.
Oh, yeah, definitely beneficial living there. Obviously, that's the reason I moved out there. That, in consideration with a lot of other baseball players being there, I could, work out and do my baseball activities with a lot of guys who had a similar schedule as I did.
And, of course, the unique quality of being a 2-sport athlete in a Power 5 program, and some great plays, great memories as a Tigers quarterback, too.
I always enjoyed my time here. I love the people more than anything. Great coaches, and I think even adding Monty to that addition, I never played for Monty. I played for Coach Jack Leggett, who I couldn't say enough good things about, but I know that Monty reached out to a lot of us former players whenever he took the job here, and that really meant a lot. And he seems like, he's helping this program progress.
Ahead in the count, 1-2, and Miller sees that one stay off the outside corner, even at 2-2. And in terms of the football memories, and we were chatting about it earlier today off the air, the throw down in Miami to Jacoby Ford that had to thread the needle, because I think there were like 5 Miami guys around the one Clemson receiver. 2-2 pitch, it'll stay that way.
That's one that I will never forget. It was a play actually that we drew up on the sideline, and I think that's kind of how that game was going, just like an emotional, hey, we're going to do this, hopefully it'll work, and it did. I don't think I'll never forget that. I don't think a lot of people will either. It's awesome.
What a great win that was. At a place where the Tigers had since gotten some very big wins over the years. There was a play earlier in that football game in Miami, and that was in the 2009 season, and you were over in the sideline and probably talking with your quarterback coach, but Kevin Alexander, an outside linebacker, made a play in the flat. I think Miami had already taken a lead, and you could just kind of feel the momentum going their way. He makes an open field tackle. If he doesn't, it would have gone probably for a Miami touchdown, as the count goes full here. And I just think really would have been now a 14-0 hole. But I'll never forget the play. He was in the right flat at outside linebacker, and he tackled a running back on a swing pass out of the backfield. I always thought that was one of the really underrated plays of that season, and what turned out to be a great one in 2009. Again, beyond the reach of Miller. Again, Davidson, this time on the run as he went across second and gets it over to Miller. And the Tigers, Miller on the mound, has a 1-2-3 inning. He's retired all 4 batters he's faced. So we head to the bottom of the 6th. Clemson trying to get on the scoreboard here at Doug Kingsmore. Tigers have touched William & Mary pitcher Bodie Sheehan for just 1 hit so far as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Wonderful crowd here for opening day. Great day to be at the ballpark. And, this is what Doug Kingsmore Stadium has now looked like for a few years, but a ballpark that is nothing close to being a cookie cutter. Just a lot of personality with the different additions and nuances now in its design, as Bryce Teodosio, the freshman center fielder, leading things off here in the Tigers' 6th inning.
Yeah, there's many different features that make this place awesome to play in. Not only the fans, but you have the Cajun Cafe in right field. I feel like an iconic part of this facility.
And Teodosio, his first collegiate base hit in his 2nd plate appearance. He's now 1 for 2, and the Tigers have a leadoff runner here in the home 6th.
That doesn't feel like a burden's just lifted off his shoulders, getting that first collegiate hit, and it's a hard hit ball. getting on base, helping the team out. It's got to feel great.
He's got good speed too, so we'll keep an eye on him. Of course, a lefty on the mound could make it a little bit more difficult. Plus, you're looking up at a 3-0 deficit as we're getting here to the later innings of the ball game. As Logan Davidson, the Tigers' leadoff hitter, the switch-hitting shortstop, standing in 0 for 2 so far in his sophomore campaign.
Yeah, you're down 3 runs. You just want to get some base runners and just get things going. We don't want to make any quick outs. Just have good quality at bats and advance station to station.
Just the second Tigers hit against Sheehan, who a year ago in 90 1/3 innings gave up 81 hits, so it's not as if he can't be touched.
Yeah, Sheehan's a guy who just pitches the contact. He wants to get you off balance and give up soft hits.
And into left field, just beyond the reach of the third baseman. Teodosio stretching it all the way from first to third. Good base running by the freshman, and the Tigers have a man in scoring position and nobody out here in the 6th.
And there you see Teodosio's speed. Just aggressive turn heading around second base and takes it all the way to third. That's pretty impressive and pretty heads up to run with that ball right in front of you.
So 2 straight hits to start things out. Again, Sheehan here in the 6th inning as Davidson was the top of the order, so 3rd time through against the junior left-hander out of Virginia Beach. And he's now in his most significant trouble of the day, and with that we see some stirring now down the third base line in that William & Mary bullpen. Davidson good speed at first, as well as the base runner at third, Teodosio, for the Tigers, as Drew Wharton, who flied out to right his last time up, grounded out to third in his first at bat of the season.
Drew Wharton did have a very good at bat last time. He saw a lot of pitches and he seems settled. He seems like he's seen what Sheehan's going to throw and can picture those pitches in his mind.
Count even at 1-1. Wharton a season ago hitting .214. He drove home 6.
So just staying down in the zone. Got a little movement on that breaking pitch. It's tough to do anything with that.
Gives a look to Davidson at first. And that's fouled out of play down the right-hand side. So Sheehan now ahead in the count. And as you can see, the off-speed pitch 2 pitches ago set up that fastball.
Yeah, he's definitely pitching off of his fastball and moving his breaking pitch, throwing it in a lot of different counts, which makes it hard for our hitters, or these Clemson hitters, to really know what's coming.
So Teodosio, the freshman, in his first collegiate game, the runner over at third. Wharton wants to do whatever he can to get him home. Davidson broke for second, and the throw will get him. So we'll score it 1-3-6. As pretty good reaction there by the first baseman Trehub, getting it down to the shortstop.
That's an unfortunate out right there. Logan seemed like he was going on first move. What you want to do whenever you got a guy in scoring positions like this is make sure he's going to the plate and then make the catcher try to throw you out at second base. Maybe a little too aggressive, but you still have a runner at third in scoring position, and hopefully you can execute and get this guy in by putting the ball in play.
First out of the inning, and Teodosio stayed at third. And Wharton, behind 1 and 2 in the count, lays off of that one to even it. So Teodosio, with his third base coach right there, obviously was getting instruction. And again, you're down 3-0. It's the home 6. You don't want to take
We're
another
already
chance.
in scoring position at third base. You don't want to make a bonehead play, get thrown out at home. Just kind of unfortunate. You know, you make that out at second. You really want them to have a contested play to make you, to throw you out at second base and not get picked off like that. But, the game's not perfect. You're going to make mistakes. You just got to keep rolling with it.
Wharton having another multi-pitch at bat. You commented on what he did the last time up in the 4th inning when he would end up flying out to right field, but still working the pitcher. And
yeah, your mindset here has to be to put the ball in play. You don't want to hit the ball in the air. Just put a ground ball right up the middle. If you get out, you get an RBI. It all works.
That should get the runner home to left field, and on the hill, pulling it in, is Raquet, but tagging and scoring the Tigers' first run of the season and the first of his career, Bryce Teodosio. So a sacrifice fly by Drew Wharton, and it makes it a 3-1 game.
That ball was squared up nicely. Seemed like he timed that up perfectly, and why hit a ground ball when you could just hit a sac fly or, also the warning track, almost a homer.
And again, if the wind weren't blowing in from right field but blowing out to left, maybe that has enough behind it to get out of there. But Wharton's still doing a good job. So Seth Beer comes up now with the bases empty, but the run home with 2 away. Beer 1 for 2. First plate appearance of the season led to the 31st double of his career.
So just watching Seth, and obviously people who have watched him know he takes a lot of walks. He's really patient at the plate. This is the type of situation, later in the game, I couldn't see, Sheehan really giving in and giving him something to hit.
64 walks a season ago to center field, but Soccer actually will come in on that one and put it away for out number 3. But the Tigers get on the board. The sac fly by Wharton brings home Teodosio, head to the 7th in a 3-1 ball game. Bottom of the order coming up for the Tribe of William and Mary. Back here in Doug Kingsmore Stadium since the opening series of 2013. The Tigers opened that campaign with a victory against the Tribe, but that was the last time Clemson won an opening day game. So trying to turn that fortune, but we'll have to come back here in the late innings to do so. Owen Soccer, spelled S-O-C-H-E-R, but pronounced Soccer. Riquet, their left fielder, his last name is spelled like racket, but it's pronounced Riquet, so they've got a racket in spelling and a guy who's pronounced Soccer, so kind of a extra athletic field of their lineup. But I digress, says Soccer, the center fielder, who hit 7th in their lineup. And did he lay off? Yes, he does. Said the first base umpire, Craig Barron. Take another look.
Yeah, that's borderline. These are always super tough to tell. As a hitter, I always think they don't swing, but I'm sure a pitcher probably has a different opinion.
100% of the time. Often. Soccer led off the 5th inning his last time up with a single, and he eventually scored on the 3-run homer by Ryan Hall. And goes the other way, and that's going to get into right field. Beer chasing it. Soccer making the turn, and he will hold at first. So a second straight hit for the junior out of Vienna, Virginia, and a leadoff base runner for the Tribe.
Yeah, he just puts the barrel on the ball, lines a single right down the right field line. If you ask any coach, the key to scoring runs is getting your leadoff guy on base. So it just makes it difficult, puts pressure on the defense.
As we noted earlier, William & Mary, a team that does not like to run. Soccer at first a year ago, 2 out of 4 in stolen bases. Here's the freshman second baseman McDermott having as solid a game as the Tigers' freshman center fielder Teodosio is. As the throw to first, a little bit more interesting by the fact it looked like Soccer might have stumbled on the bag when he went back to it. McDermott, he doubled in his very first collegiate at bat and then flied out to right center on an above average play out there by Seth Beer. His last time up.
He hit one pretty good last time in that right center gap. Probably hit it about as good as you can to the opposite field. Seems comfortable in the batter's box. I think you just got to stay down in the zone. Your goal here is to get a ground ball, try to get 2 outs with 1 pitch.
Ryan Miller, his second inning to start out on the hill. He came on in relief of Hennessy in that 5th inning and retired the only batter he faced. Retired the first 4 Tribe batters before the leadoff hit here in the 6th, or rather the 7th by Soccer. And that makes it an 0-2 count.
Yeah, 0-2 here. I would try to stay something up in the zone, maybe something to change his eye level. You don't want to try to break one, too hard down in the dirt and risk, putting a runner in scoring position. If you could just get 1 out, keeping a guy on first, you allow yourself to still be able to get a ground ball and get 2 outs.
Davidson, Green, and safe at first as McDermott, who's got really good speed. He had 48 stolen bases in his high school career, and you saw it right there. Plus, it really wasn't hit all that hard out to Davidson.
No, pretty good turn right here. Gets down the line really fast. Looks like he barely beat it. But I don't really know if you could speed that up. Nice turn by Green right there.
6-4 in the fielder's choice to erase Soccer at second base for out number 1. So the second baseman McDermott, now the Tribe base runner over at first with 1 away, and the 9th place hitter Zach Pearson, the shortstop, 1 out of 2, and his double in that 5th inning put runners on 2nd and 3rd ahead of the home run by Hall. That one doesn't get too far away.
Yeah, just kind of dribbled away right there. You still want to hold the runner at first close, so you can get that double play ball and hopefully turn 2. It's always beneficial. 1 pitch, 2 outs.
And obviously they have read the bio of one Matt McDermott, the freshman from Little Falls, New Jersey, over there at first base, and know just how quick he is.
Yeah, he can move. Just seeing him run down the line, he's a guy who can scoot a little bit.
Pearson hit just 190 a year ago, falls behind here 0-1, but he was an excellent hitter with runners in scoring position, and actually may not have that overall number right now that I think about it. Miller, like any reliever, just trying to keep the Tribe where they are.
Yeah, Miller's got a lot of movement on his fastball. You can see he throws that 2-seamer, which is a fastball that kind of sinks right back into the batter's hands if you're a right-handed hitter. Sometimes that's hard to control, but once you get a good feel for it, it's extremely difficult to hit as a hitter.
So 1-1 pitch upcoming to Zach Pearson, originally from Houston. Indeed, he did hit 190 a year ago. But again, was .318 with runners in scoring position. Not the situation right here. And again, keeping McDermott close because you've pulled within a couple of runs, the Tigers have, with that Wharton sac fly in the home 6. So stay within.
You have to hold them right here. Going into the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, you have experienced offense.
That one's going to get out of play behind the William & Mary dugout.
Yeah, 3 to run. You can overcome that deficit. You just, you want to keep the score where it is, not let these guys get into scoring position.
Well, and you've got a couple of guys in the middle of the Tigers lineup. One of them will be due up to start off the 7th inning, who with 1 swing can get a run on the board. And if you can get Chris Williams up there with some thump, or Seth Beer with a man on as this game unfolds, and down by 2, you're feeling pretty good.
Yeah, completely.
That one ripped into left. It's going to head to the corner. We'll keep an eye on McDermott as he rounded 2nd, heading to 3rd. He's going to be waved. Here comes the throw to Davidson, the relay man to the plate. Wilkie couldn't hang on to it, and heading over to 3rd with a run-scoring hit is Pearson. As McDermott, we saw that speed as he flew around the base paths and makes it a 4-1 game.
Yeah, that was great base running. He knew from the get-go that he potentially could score a run. I think it's also notable Pearson just running the bases hard, ends up on 3rd base at this play at the plate. Good piece of hitting, even better base running, and then just to take that extra base when you see the ball being relayed home and the guy not cut the ball off. You take that extra base to go to 3rd, potentially puts you in position to score on a pass ball.
Scored an RBI double with the runner advancing to 3rd on the throw, and that's where Pearson stands. With just 1 out here in the top half of the 7th, a run in, the 8th hit in the ball game for the Tribe. They've out-hit the Tigers 8-3, and as you see, have once again taken a 3-run lead. Top of the order, Ryan Hall, and he authored that 3-run homer, which put them on the board in the 5th inning.
Yeah, you can see right now the infield's in. Obviously, this run on 3rd base is pretty important. From a pitching standpoint, I'm going to be very fine with my pitches. If I walk this guy and put him on first base, you could put the middle infielders back and play for a double play ball that could get you out of this inning.
Miller about to deliver his 28th pitch since he came on in the 5th. Davidson, the shortstop, once he finds it, he throws it, and that's out number 2. Pretty nice play on what looked like a ball that had some weird spin to it. And Logan Davidson holding that runner at 3rd.
You hear guys throwing knuckleballs. Sometimes you can hit them. It's these raised seams. If you hit them just perfectly, they kind of come out a little funky. They're not fun when they get hit at you, but Logan did a great job knocking it down, making the play at first, and you got 2 outs. Still just a 3-run ball game. Just want to continue to play, continue to get in the rhythm of the game.
Riquet, their top hitter, facing a right-hander for the first time this afternoon. He struck out as the last batter that Jacob Hennessy faced before he was relieved of his duties through 4 2/3 innings. And twice today, Riquet struck out against the lefty Hennessy. The other time, he flied out to center. Seeing the infield drawn in moments ago reminded me of what you were telling me earlier about how when you tried third a little bit, the balls just seemed to get down there much faster at this level than they had in high school.
Yeah, well, anytime you move closer to the hitter, things are going to happen fast. And it's one of those things that you just have to have a lot of experience doing. These middle infielders, they've been, playing infield their whole life and very talented. So, I mean, it's just something that you naturally kind of acquire the reaction time over a while.
1-1 pitch. And the count goes 1-2. We noted earlier, Riquet struck out 54 times a year ago. And his season off to an 0-for-3 start with 2 of those outs being strikeouts. That wind we've been talking about throughout the day has picked up a little bit more in right center with a lefty hitter up there and a swing and a miss. And for the 3rd time today, Brandon Riquet going down on strikes, and Ryan Miller allows a run in the inning but strands a potential run at third base. Tribe had him there with less than 2 outs. So 7th inning stretch time for the first time in 2018 here in Doug Kingsmore Stadium. Tigers need to come back. Bottom of the 7th, the cleanup batter, Chris Williams, set to lead off. Williams ended a really good run by the starter Bodie Sheehan of William & Mary of 9 straight batters retired when he singled back in the 4th inning with 2 men out. He was left stranded at first. William & Mary 4-8-0. Tigers 1-3-0. And Sheehan in this first start of the campaign out there to start things out in inning number 7.
Yeah, Sheehan's really carried this team. I think you have to tip your hat to him. He's been able to work both sides of the plate, get ahead in the count, and get guys out, making it challenging for this Tiger offense. 72 pitches so far, and as we see dusk begin to settle in here at Doug Kingsmore, the lights are on. They have been for a while, but hitting at this time of the day, you don't have the shadows, but what's it like? It's nice now, like you mentioned, the shadows are what makes it difficult. Anytime you have the mound in the shade and the plate in the sun, or vice versa, it's kind of difficult to see spin. I think we're lucky now you got a little cloud coverage. It's not that bright. Shouldn't really pose that big of a problem.
Williams behind here, 0-2. Count will stay that way. You saw the activity in the bullpen for William & Mary. Charlie Fletcher, a senior right-hander for them, is warming up.
Yeah, I'd have to imagine you just let Sheehan continue to go until he gets into trouble. This probably just has him there for an emergency, but right now you just want to let him pitch, go out there and do what he's been doing.
Didn't mean to, and it'll stay 0-2. I should say it'll stay 2-2, as the scoreboard shows us 2-2.
Yeah, it's 2-2. So
it is 2-2. So
yeah.
I apologize for our graphic there on the screen. Sheehan has 4 strikeouts in the ball game.
Yeah, not really a guy who strikes people out, but he pitches for soft contact. He wants you to hit it, wants you to get yourself out.
Ripped to short, but Pearson going up and pulling it back down. Nice play by Zach Pearson.
That was a great play right there. Just robbed Mr. Williams of a hit. It's tough, yeah.
So Pearson's been in the middle of it a little bit these past couple of innings. He took the throw from the first baseman Trehub to work the pickoff Logan Davidson and kind of squelched what could have been a better rally for the Tigers when they got on the board in the 6th. And now robbing Chris Williams of a second hit in the game as Robert Jolly steps in. Jolly hitting in the 5-hole today in this Tigers lineup. The senior out of Myrtle Beach, 0-for-2 so far. Struck out his first time up this season in the 2nd, then grounded out to the second baseman McDermott back in the 4th. And he falls behind here in the count, 0-2.
Yeah, you just want to keep trying to put the ball in play, take good swings, and keep your head on it. Right now, you really got to battle. Down 2 strikes, you're running out of outs. Just do the best you can. But they're making it tough on you, playing great defense, and Sheehan will making pitches.
Tried to get him to chase. 1-2 count. Jolly, the son of a high school coach, and he's no longer a catcher. He's a DH and an outfielder. And he noted this week that he's used to the outfield and that he shagged a lot of fly balls as a kid. See if he can beat this one out. But a good job by Pearson to get it and throw it. And 2 up and 2 down in the Tigers' half of the 7th. But Jolly used to shag fly balls at his dad's practices as a little kid, so he spent a lot of time in the outfield. And here, slow roller had a chance, but got him by a couple of steps.
Yeah, just got him out on his front foot. Sheehan's been changing speeds all day. He's been messing with the timing of these Tiger hitters and making it hard for them to make solid contact. They're hitting a lot of soft ground balls, and he's getting his defense involved. Everyone's out there playing hard for him.
In the lower corner, you see the total pitch count, inning by inning, pretty efficient, with the exception of that 4th inning, which really 23 pitches an inning isn't the worst thing in the world. First pitch swinging this time, Bird. And Pearson thought about it, but he will give way to the left fielder, Riquet, who will pull it in, and the Tigers going in order in the 7th. A year ago, Clemson just 3-16 when trailing after 7, down 4-1 here. Head to the 8th inning, William & Mary, the 4-1 lead. In 2017, they were 26-3 when leading after 7, and the middle of their order is due up here in the 8th. As we take you back through our ball game so far, a pitcher's duel for the first few innings, but that changed with one swing of the bat as Ryan Hall runs into one from Jacob Hennessy in the top of the 5th with a couple on. Hall, the right fielder, had 6 homers a year ago and 41 runs batted in. And Bryce Teodosio coming home with the first Tigers run, the first of his career, to make it a 3-1 game in the 6th inning. But William & Mary striking and able to build the lead back out to a 3-run advantage off of that RBI double by Zach Pearson, who's had himself a good ball game. Or I should say the shortstop had himself a good game in the field and also hitting-wise with that RBI double and able to score the William & Mary run and make it a 4-1 game.
Yeah, the opening game is always so weird. You never know if it's going to be an offensive battle or a defensive game, and you just don't know what you're going to get. Baseball is a funny sport. You play a lot of games, and you're not really defined by, one ball game. But I would say the story is Sheehan just coming out and dominating these Tigers so far.
He has been solid on the hill. They've had some good at-bats as well. And Ryan Miller coming on in that 5th inning has done some good things in relief as Monty Lee tries to kind of configure what his bullpen will look like in various situations. In this case, he went to the pen with his team down by 3 in the middle innings. And the count will remain 1-2 as Ryan has a single to show for his afternoon, 1 out of 3. Last time up, he flied out to Teodosio in center, a play that the Tiger freshman center fielder did a nice job to come in on to his right. Count evens at 2-2.
There's been some solid defensive plays, too. Pretty crisp baseball game. Not a lot of strikeouts. Guys putting the ball in play. And then, obviously, the difference is just the big home run.
Davidson at short. He's been busy over there today, and that's out number 1 here in the William & Mary 8th inning. All-time series, the Tiger team leading 5-1 coming in. As we see Davidson pretty much made to order grounder right there.
Yeah, just a routine ground ball. So, it's been tough, and kind of the story is, Tigers struggling in the opening day, but, I think they've done a good job of not letting that define them. Maybe that you should come out here and get comfortable, and sometimes that's hard to ask, and as a coach, it's really hard to know the words to communicate to your team. There's no substitution for experience, and you just need to get out on the field and start playing.
Hunter Smith, their preseason all-conference catcher, with one of their 8 hits in the ball game. 3-year starter behind the plate, and he'll share time back there with Matthew Trehub, who's playing first base today. One of their better power hitters a year ago with 6 home runs. And that one catches the plate, makes it a 2-1 count. As Miller is past 40 pitches now in his relief effort.
Yeah, Miller's got a live arm, and he, like I mentioned earlier, he's got that arm side run, two-seam fastball, which basically, a velocity pitch that runs into the hands of these hitters, and it's hard for them to judge and get the barrel on the ball.
Couldn't catch up to that one. Count evens at 2-2. A fastball at better than 90 miles an hour. Noted the Tigers winning 5 of the 6 in the series against the Tribe. The last meeting was that opening series of 2013. Davidson charging, gloving, throwing, and getting the catcher by a couple of steps for out number 2 in the 8th inning. Clemson lost the opener and opener of the season that year in 2013 to the Tribe, but then came back and won the next 2.
I really like Davidson at shortstop. I think he's only going to keep excelling as he gets comfortable. I know kind of the rap on him last year was he booted a couple routine plays, but I think his talent level and ceiling is super high. You can just tell when he gets comfortable, he can make all the throws, make all the plays. He's a switch hitting guy, just terrific talent, and it's enjoyable to watch, and you could just see he knows his timing, he's under control, and it makes these plays look easy when in all actuality it's not that easy.
Pitching change here. Ryan Miller, the righty, with the left-handed batter about to come up for William & Mary, Matthew Trahub. So Monty Lee will go to the bullpen. Solid relief effort by Miller. He did allow the run, but was able to keep things relatively in check.
He threw strikes, and I think that's a huge factor. Whenever you have a guy coming in, you're calling him out of the bullpen, you just want to know that he's able to command the strike zone. I think that's a positive thing from the starting pitching for both teams and the relief appearance for the Clemson Tigers. So you have a guy that's going to come in and he's going to be comfortable. He's going to be able to throw the ball over the plate and make them hit it, which hitting is not easy. You don't want to give anyone a free pass.
So the Tigers replacing Ryan Miller with Ryan Huggins. Here's a Tiger lefty making his debut. A redshirt freshman. Grew up in Newberry. About an hour 45-minute or so drive from the Clemson campus. Went to Newberry High School. He watched from the dugout in the bullpen a year ago, but at 6'3", 230. And again, a guy who's got a chance to establish himself as one of the lefty options out of the bullpen, and getting that chance right here in game number 1 of the season.
Yeah, big left-hander, kind of a little unorthodox 3/4 delivery, which, add a little movement, make a little deception, to the hitters. But a good-looking kid. He's got some good stuff. You want to just see him come out here and compete, put his best foot forward.
Trahub will stay in there to face him. Monty Lee going against the William & Mary team he faced quite a bit while he was at the College of Charleston, as they were both in the Colonial Athletic Association. In fact, in 2014, the College of Charleston knocked off William & Mary for that conference championship, as Monty Lee went against the guy who's still the head coach for the Tribe, Brian Murphy. And we told you earlier they went head-to-head about a week before that championship game, in the second longest game in college baseball history that went 27 innings. 2 outs here in the William & Mary half of the 8th inning, and the first pitch delivered by Huggins, and a 1-0 count on the batter Trahub. Chase one that might have been outside of the zone.
Yeah, just a little bit outside, and this is, your advantage. Just left on left, little unorthodox 3/4 delivery, makes it tough on the hitter. You get him to chase, and that's exactly what he wants him to do.
And 2 quick strikes after the opening pitch was a ball.
Yeah, this one just a bit outside, but not a bad place to miss. You always want to be fine when you have the count in your advantage as a pitcher.
Inside corner, called strike 3. Not a bad debut at all for Huggins, as he gets Trahub looking. 3rd time today, the William & Mary first baseman has gone down on strikes. 1st time looking. So the Tigers get the Tribe in order in the 8th, bottom of the 8th. A 4-1 William & Mary lead. Well, the day is done for the William & Mary starter Bodie Sheehan, who stands in line for the win. 7 strong innings for him. That's Charlie Fletcher, who led the Colonial Athletic Association a season ago with 30 appearances. He has 77 in his career. And now the senior out of Ashburn, Virginia, on to try to protect this lead. And he's got a real good chance to do a lot of things out of their bullpen. Brian Murphy says they'll use him in the 7th inning, 8th inning, might use him to close as they're trying to get some things figured out, as most teams are this season in terms of where they want to use guys. But boy, Bodie Sheehan has to be happy with his work today. Just 3 hits allowed against this Clemson lineup. Worked around very little trouble at all. At one point retired 9 Tigers in a row.
Yeah, you have to be extremely satisfied if you're Bodie Sheehan with your performance. You came out versus a very experienced offense. You were calm, poised, and led your team. I think there's a lot of positives he could walk away from this outing.
Now he hopes that Fletcher and the bullpen for William & Mary can get him a first win on this season after Sheehan won 6 a year ago. Fletcher went 3-1 last season. 19 strikeouts in those 30 appearances.
Yeah, kind of a sidearm delivery. And I mean, I would be under the assumption that they would, want Fletcher to throw 2 innings and try to close this thing out with his experience. They have the game in hand, 3-run lead. I wouldn't imagine them warming up a closer. I think if things go as planned, they'll leave Fletcher in for these 2 innings and say it's his ball game.
He's got a 1-1 count on the Tigers catcher Kyle Wilkie, who stands in 0 for 2 in the game. All of the 30 appearances by Fletcher a year ago were in relief, and now he's ahead 1-2.
The big thing for Clemson here is you want base runners. You can't score a run without base runners. You want to get everything you can do as your power, or in your power as a hitter, to get on first base.
Wilkie, the Tigers catcher, looks at ball 2. He was retired on a top shelf play at third by Patrick Ryan in the 2nd inning, and then flied out to center field his last time up. Wilkie a season ago. Good second half for him. He ended up hitting .235. And he'll share catching duties with Chris Williams. That one to center field. Soccer moves over. Looked like it might start falling a little bit earlier than it did, and it's out number 1 here in the Tigers' half of the 8th inning.
Yeah, kind of hung up there. You see Fletcher with that sidearm delivery. The ball really runs into a right-handed hitter's hands, and it's easy for you to get jammed. As we see there, jam pop up. The ball's not going where you think it's going to go. Gets in on your hands. It's hard to make solid contact.
Jordan Green was due up, but we'll get a pinch hitter for the Tigers. The lefty batting Patrick Cromwell in his 2nd season in a Clemson uniform, the junior college transfer out of Costa Mesa, California. Hit .203 a year ago with a couple of home runs. But Monty Lee here in the 8th inning electing to go with a lefty on righty matchup. Cromwell, who came to Clemson as a third baseman, now pretty much exclusively a first baseman, and you would suppose he'll see some time over there when Chris Williams moves behind the plate, or might even platoon a little bit. And first pitch swinging. Good job by Trey Hub to go down and get it. And he'll take it himself for out number 2.
Yeah, it's always tough coming off the bench and pitch hitting. There's a lot of different philosophies on the way to do it, but you can elect the one to just see one down the middle and let it go. Get loose. It's hard to get into the rhythm of the game. I thought that ball was hit, pretty hard just on the ground. Kind of unfortunate, but like I said, these Tigers got to do everything they can just to get a guy on base and try to get things rolling.
Here's Teodosio. He has scored the Tigers' only run of the game, the freshman making his debut. 1 for 2 in the contest. And some nice work out in center field with the glove. Interesting backstory on this guy and how he was destined probably to get involved in baseball. He grew up as next-door neighbors to descendants of Shoeless Joe Jackson, the baseball legend. You probably know all about Shoeless Joe, and in the upstate of South Carolina, especially in the Greenville area, he is quite the talking point, as Teodosio that time gave it a hearty rip.
Yeah, big cut at that one. No, he's comfortable on a baseball field, so I could tell. He seems like he knows what he's doing. Great athlete, good-looking kid. He's got a great swing and plays some good defense. So
falls behind here 1-2. His last time up is when he scored that run, when he got his first career hit, and eventually came home on the sacrifice fly by Drew Wharton. First time up, he grounded out to his fellow freshman McDermott at second. Fletcher ahead, senior to freshman, and the count evens at 2-2.
Yeah, Fletcher's obviously been in spots like this before. You could just tell his body language. He knows what he's doing as a pitcher. You're not going to go up there and counts and give you something to hit. Once he gets ahead, he's going to just pick at you and make you get yourself out.
Fletcher, that sidearm style and kind of an interesting way to deliver. These days, if you see a guy go that low, it's usually more submarine, and you don't see that many since the Dan Quisenberry, Kent DeCulvey era of Major League Baseball. But almost a true sidearmer is an extinct species.
There are some out there, though.
Yep. Center field, and now over toward right it goes, so the right fielder will call for it, and Hall will put it away. And the Tigers going in order in the 8th inning, so we head to the 9th, and the Tribe with a 4-1 lead. New Tigers pitcher is Carson Spires, a sophomore out of Greenville. Played at Greenville High School. He was a really good quarterback there as well as pitcher, and a year ago, 3 games, 3 strikeouts, and one of those many Tigers who's a legacy in this athletic program is Dad Mike and his Uncle Bill, of course, former Clemson baseball players. And now Carson Spires will try to keep things where they are. Top half of the 9th inning, 6, 7, and 8 due up for the William & Mary team, and some shifting in the field for the Tigers. Green was taken down for the pinch hitter, so Bird moves from 3rd to 2nd, and Patrick Cromwell, who grounded out in that pinch hitting appearance, now the new 3rd baseman for the Tigers. You see him there. And Spires starting things out with a strike delivered to Colin Lipke, designated hitter, who in 3 times up each time is grounded out to the Tigers shortstop, Logan Davidson.
Yeah, slider just missed away right here. I like Carson. He's got a good build, a good fast arm. You can tell he gets some movement and has a lively arm, gets some velocity on his pitches.
Lipke originally from Greenville, or I should say Greensboro, North Carolina, so a guy from Greensboro facing a guy from Greenville, South Carolina. And they expect him to add some thump. He hit it .463 in junior college. He's going to get back and out of play.
Yeah, he's got a little pop in his bat. Obviously a guy who can potentially drive the ball out of the ballpark. But, you know, if you're pitching, you just want to continue to execute your plan. I would say a well-located pitch beats a velocity pitch any day.
And almost a quick pitch look right there by Spires. How do you like that?
Oh, the old quick pitch. I've fallen victim to that before.
Have you?
Oh, yeah. Sometimes you can sneak one by there, especially with a guy that has a kind of like a load mechanism in your swing. You just go and fire one right over the middle. They're not ready for it. That was probably a ball, but he fought it off. He almost got him to swing through it.
Spires' 2-2 pitch stayed high, so the count goes full on the leadoff man of the inning. If you're looking ahead to the Tigers half of the 9th inning, it'll be the top of the order. Davidson, Wharton, and Beer due up, so you want to keep it right here and hope you can put together a rally.
Yeah, you want to keep the score of the game right where it is. You have the bulk of your lineup coming up. Nice pitch inside. Got him to swing right through that. That's pretty awesome.
Good start to the season for Carson Spires, as the strikeout recorded, the 9th by Tiger pitching in the ball game, and it's 1 out here in the top half of the 9th.
Yeah, the same thing, 2-seam fastball, and it just takes off, running in on the hands of a right-handed hitter. And that's pretty difficult to deal with as a hitter. You see this ball is coming hard with velocity over the middle of the plate, and next thing you know, it ends up almost on your back foot. It's a pretty nasty pitch to deal with.
Owen Socker, the center fielder, 1 for 3 with a run scored. He singled in the 5th inning and came home on the Ryan Hall 3-run homer.
These William & Mary hitters have had good at-bats, good competitive at-bats, and they've really earned the runs they've had. They've hit some balls hard, not a lot of cheap hits. I think you got to tip your caps to them so far. I mean, it's been a great game, pretty crisp, you know, well-executed match.
And they're picked 5th in their conference, but the Colonial Athletic Association, a probably overlooked baseball league, as that one comes in there for the strike. So Spires ahead on a batter 1 and 2. And you've got UNC Wilmington, College of Charleston in that league. Some good folks. Elon is picked 5th with William & Mary going into the season. We've seen them come here and play at Doug Kingsmore before. Spires.
Yeah, all three that you named are, pretty competitive baseball, have pretty competitive baseball programs. So, I'm sure these guys have seen arms before, played against high caliber players. And I mean, you can tell right now they came to play. They're ready to go.
You've got James Madison, George Mason, and that one's fouled away. George Mason was in that conference, but James Madison among those in there. And count stays at 1 and 2 as Spires that time was almost able to blow it by him.
Yeah, he tried to just throw one by him right there, left it a little up, but not a bad pitch.
Swing and a miss. 2 up, 2 down, both on strikeouts, both swinging for Carson Spires. Had just 3 strikeouts a year ago, so he's got a chance to match that total here in the opener.
Yeah, there's so many pieces to the puzzle that you have to fit in. These guys are just trying to find their identities. It's nice to see, pitchers you throw out there in relief appearances, regardless if there's pressure or not, just come out and perform and execute the way that you want them to.
10th strikeout of the ball game by Tigers pitching into center field, and Teodosio will have to play that on a bounce, and that is one fine-looking freshman second baseman that Brian Murphy and his William & Mary tribe have, as Matt McDermott reaching for the 3rd time in his 4 plate appearances, and the only time he was retired, it took Seth Beer going into the right center gap and making a catch in which he had to reach out well to his left.
It's always a relief to get hits on the opening day, because then you can look up on the scoreboard and you actually have a batting average. It makes you feel good about yourself. It's always tough when you don't get any and then you look up and you got a 0 on the board. It just messes with your psyche a little as a hitter.
Double and a couple of singles, a run scored for McDermott, and so he's a 2-out base runner for Zach Pearson, shortstop, who's done some good things today. An RBI double to his credit. In fact, one of 2 doubles he's had in the ball game.
Yeah, he's hit multiple balls hard and had some good at-bats.
RBI double extended the lead back to 3 runs in the 7th, in which McDermott was on first, and Pearson ripped run into the left field corner, and it was a real pleasure to watch McDermott run with that speed in the base pass and the freshman aggressively all the way around. Not a real pleasure for Tiger fans, but just watching him go around the pass, you could see the good speed that led to nearly 50 stolen bases as a high school player.
Yeah, going first to home on that ball, hit off the fence. Yeah, pretty impressive. Pretty impressive way to round those bases, I would say.
Pearson, who had just 190 a year ago, already with a very solid start to his junior season. He originally wasn't supposed to be their starting shortstop, but things have worked out that way, and at least the opener, he's made the most of it.
Yeah, made a couple good plays on the field, too.
Goes the other way this time, and it'll bend foul. From our angle, it looked like it was going to be just a bit more interesting as it headed down the line. A year ago, in fact, Zach Pearson had just 2 doubles, so he's matched that total here in the opening game. Spires allowed that single to McDermott, but struck out the first 2 batters. Still a chance to strike out the side with a 1-2 pitch coming to Pearson. Didn't chase, runner stays put.
That's a great job behind the plate. The last thing you want right now is to put a runner in scoring position. You want to hold the score where it is, keeping that ball in front, keeps the guy on first base and gives you a chance to get another out.
Hall, the right fielder, would be next. Certainly don't want to see a couple of guys on from him after he ran into one back in the 5th inning with 2 on. Tigers maybe thinking something's on with a 2-2 pitch, so McDermott chased back.
Yeah, if you have a feeling that they're going to throw a breaking ball, it might not be the worst time to run. just not having that control. Breaking balls are harder to throw for strikes. There it goes.
And there's the off-speed pitch, getting Pearson to chase. An 11th strikeout in the game for Tigers pitching, and Carson Spires indeed strikes out the side with a man left on base after the McDermott hit. So we head to the bottom of the ninth. William & Mary a 4-1 lead. Head to the bottom of the ninth as darkness descends upon Doug Kingsmore Stadium, our 2018 season opener. And even though the sun set about half an hour to 45 minutes ago, still very pleasant temperature-wise at the ballpark. Tigers would love to have a pleasant home ninth as Logan Davidson, leadoff hitter, stands in for the fourth time in the ball game. He singled his last time up. At the time, it put runners on first and third with no one out in that sixth inning, and the Tigers looking to get something going as they trailed at that point in the ball game 3-0, but Davidson was picked off. The man on third, Teodosio, eventually scored in a sac fly, but that's been the only offense so far in terms of generating runs for this Clemson team. And that's going to get up the middle. A second straight hit for Davidson. So here you go in the bottom of the ninth. Tigers have the leadoff man on against Charlie Fletcher out there for a second inning of work.
Obviously, Davidson, a switch hitter. I really like him from the left side of the plate. He seems comfortable, and he just gets in there and takes a nice swing, drives that ball right back up the middle. Exactly what you want to do in the ninth inning as a leadoff hitter. You have to do everything you can to get on base, and now hopefully they can continue on this momentum.
And that's the first time today that Davidson hit from the left side, of course, the switch hitting shortstop. Here's Wharton, the sacrifice fly, getting that lone Tigers run home in inning number 6, getting the start in left field today. Wharton, now a senior, his 15th outfield start of his Tiger career.
Yeah, you want to just keep this lineup flowing. I feel like that should be Wharton's role. Just come in here and see a lot of pitches. You can tell a little more passive at the plate, probably as a team, heading into the ninth inning, because you want to get on base. Scoring one run's not going to do anything for you. You got to get 3 or 4.
And now Pearson falling behind 2-0, so his catcher Smith went out to talk to him because you've got a man on first, you got Wharton ahead in the count, and you-know-who is waiting over on deck in a 3-run game.
Yeah, you're probably just communicating the message to throw strikes, just like I mentioned before. 1 run's not going to hurt you. You want to make the guys put the ball in play before you get to those guys in the middle of the order who you really don't want to face.
First time in our ball game today that a Clemson batter's been ahead in the count 3-0, so no doubt Wharton will likely keep the bat on his shoulder on this next delivery. And it grazed the inside corner on 3-0. Perhaps on 1-0 that might have been called differently, but Wharton, who was already walking out of the batter's box, will now look at a 3-1 pitch.
Yeah, we'll never know. Sometimes that zone gets a little bigger. As a hitter, you don't like that. But you're still in a hitter's count. Just keep the same mindset.
Taking all the way, and the count goes full.
Yeah, that one right over the inside part of the plate. That's tough for a right-handed hitter. Ball's running in on you. Probably a pitch that you'd get out if you swung and hit it. So, I mean, I'm not hating the fact that you let that one go.
Payoff pitch with Davidson on first. To the shortstop, Pearson to second for 1. McDermott the turn, a double play, 6-4-3. Couldn't have come at a better time for William & Mary, or at a worse time for the Tigers. And just like that, 2 outs, no one on for Seth Beer.
Yeah, that's pretty tough luck right there. Ball's hit pretty sharply right at the shortstop, though. They're able to turn 2. Just takes all the momentum away from the Tigers. Not a bad swing, just unfortunate set of events.
First double play in the game for the Tribe. And that one hurts because you felt good, even if you had 1 out and a man on for this guy, Seth Beer. But now Beer, who doubled his first time up, but since has popped out to third and then flied out to center. And at this point, he's probably doing whatever he can to get himself just on base to try to keep this inning going.
Yeah, exactly, Pete. He's just going to come in here and just try to have a productive at-bat and do everything he can just to get on base.
And that's one way. And Seth Beer, as we talked about earlier, a bunch of walks a year ago with 64, and he was really good, dubiously, if you will, at doing just that, getting on base via hit by pitch. As you see, took one low, and the relatively low pain threshold might have even hit that brace.
Yeah, it seems like the book on Seth is you want to get in on his hands, which is dangerous because you're either going to hit him or leave one over the plate if you miss. That's probably why he gets hit all the time, because he's on the plate and guys are trying to throw in to get that ball inside to get him to jam and not let his hands get extended.
30th time in his career that Beer has been hit by a pitch, so Williams now with 2 men out and Beer at first. Chris Williams at first base today, although we will see him return behind the plate, says Monty Lee, after a period of time as he's coming off a shoulder injury.
Yeah, he had a hard ball his last at bat. Seems comfortable, has a lot of experience. That ball looked a little inside to me.
Yeah. Williams among those wearing orange in this ballpark, wondering how that was a strike, but it evens the count at 1-1. Hit that hard liner that Pearson, the shortstop, went up and backhanded in the air to pull down for the out his last time up in the 7th. He had one of the Tigers' 4 hits when he came up in the 4th inning. 1 for 3 in the game. Stays away from that one.
Yeah, you just want to be patient. The obvious goal is to get the tying run to the plate. Without that, nothing really matters with it being the 9th inning.
Robert Jolly waits on deck. Lefty hitter. William & Mary's bullpen, they really don't have anyone who's a left-hander that's established.
So with Fletcher's experience, it's my opinion that they want him to close this thing out.
Boy, that one long foul ball to get out in that part of the ballpark.
Yeah, there's no telling what's going to happen. Opening day, late in the game. It's got to kind of make you nervous, so it's what makes the game beautiful. You just never know.
Jolly would love to have a chance here in the 9th. 2 p.m. first pitch tomorrow. Hope to have you out here at Doug Kingsmore. If not, we invite you to join us again. Coach Crawford takes the hill for the Clemson team. And Williams able to get a piece right there and stay alive.
It's a good pitch by Fletcher. It's been coming in on Williams' hands the whole at bat. This is breaking pitch right out on the outside. Good job by Williams battling it off. There's not much you can do with that pitch. It's tough.
Battle of right-handers tomorrow. Jamie Sara for William & Mary. He was a 12th round draft pick out of high school, but opted to go to college, and I'm told he's got some dynamic stuff. 2-2 pitch to Williams. Line to left field. It'll get down. Chasing it is Riquet. Moving over to third is Beer. He's in there, and Williams sliding into second with a 2-out double. Second and third for the Tigers. Don't go away just yet.
Yeah, it's nice to see a little life. Great piece of hitting, just stays right out there. Williams is a guy who wants to get his hands extended and hit the ball out front. Just keeps his head on it, breaking ball, and lines it right down the left field line.
Robert Jolly will come up. Jolly a year ago, if you're wondering, just 1 home run, but he is a contact guy.
So you have a sidearm pitcher with back-to-back lefties in the lineup. Not the most ideal situation. And this will really tell, what the coaching philosophy is. Do you just trust this guy, or are you going to give Fletcher the game, let him go after him? It'll be interesting to see.
4 strikeouts of Tigers today. Jolly twice has gone down on strikes. Watch out in the bullpen where righty Wade Strain is warming up for William & Mary.
I think Jolly's had a lot of good swings. I think his timing's a little off. He may be a little late, but he's almost right on it. If he could just make that adjustment, he'll be all right.
Pearson, the 0-1 delivery, and he gets ahead in the count 0-2. And you can tell, even though he's working from the stretch, the senior, who's among the all-time appearance leaders in William & Mary history, 7th on their list with 77, but he'll get real close to number 1 by the time this season's done. But I said Pearson, I mean Fletcher, the pitcher, Charlie Fletcher. Even with runners on base working out of the stretch, you can tell he's not paying attention to them at all. He's just bearing down and going right after that.
Yeah, they're not even there. He's just out there alone. He knows what he's going to do, and they trust him. No one's going out there to talk to him. He's on the mound, and they're letting him pitch his game.
And Jolly sees the count go to 1-2.
And that's a hard pitch to lay off. It looks like it's going to be over the plate. It dies down. You're doing everything you can to battle. That's a good take right there.
Tigers trying to avoid falling In yet another season opener, they've lost their past 4. And a little looper into left field. That's a base hit. Beer scoring easily. Williams waved. It's a 1-run game. A 2-out, 2-run RBI single for Robert Jolly here in the bottom of the 9th. And the Tigers continue on with a rally.
That's a terrific at-bat by Jolly. He's been fouling those pitches off all game long. It's nice to see a guy who's been here for so long just come through in the clutch like that. As you can see right here, just takes that outside pitch, probably 2 or 3 balls off the plate, not a strike, and just loops it right into left field, scoring 2 runs. Pretty incredible at-bat.
Visit to the mound for William and Mary. That's their pitching coach, Brian Casey. And again, talking with Fletcher, you noted the experience factor, and that's big for a bullpen that just doesn't have a lot of that.
Well, yeah, when you're in such a pivotal point of the game early in the season, you want to go with the guys who have proven over and over again and that they can get the job done and have been in the situations, and that's what it looks like they're going to do. They're going to leave Fletcher in there. Even though you have a right-on-left matchup with Bird, you're going to let him pitch. You're going to let him go out there and do his thing because you trust him, and you've seen him do it before.
And Sam Hall, one of those Clemson freshmen, getting a chance in his first collegiate game to pinch run as they take down Jolly for Hall. And Hall, the player you're going to hear a lot about, number 116 freshman in the nation by perfect game.
Athletic kid, can really pick it in the infield, has a tremendous upside. Right now you just want a guy that can run. I mean, his run's crucial, so you want to get to second base, get in scoring position potentially. He heads up for a ball in the dirt, and that's what's going through your mind if you're on first base.
Grayson Bird 0 for 3 in the game, but like Jolly, 9th inning's a good time to get that first hit on the season. Falls behind here 0-1. Bird a year ago in this Tigers lineup hitting .284. He had a homer and 20 runs batted in.
Yeah, he's got versatility too. I think that he's learning his swing. He's got good movement. He can play a lot of different positions. I think this is a big situation for him. Hopefully, he can just put it all together, be comfortable, and be himself.
4th year in college baseball for Bird, whose career began at LSU. Hails from Milton, Georgia. Throw down with the runner going, and Hall is safe. Wow, I have a feeling the freshman didn't do that on his own, so let's chalk that up some aggressive managing here in the bottom half of the 9th inning by Monty Lee. Looked like the throw was good enough by Hunter Smith.
Well, it's a good throw. Anytime you have these guys who have a sidearm delivery, their time to the plate is slower, and then their velocity is slower, giving you a better opportunity to steal. It looks like he just barely beat it, but that was a terrific throw.
Great job. So they're going to go ahead and put Bird on to set up a force at both second and third. And it'll be Kyle Wilkie who stands in. So how about that? Sam Hall, first collegiate game, comes on as a pinch runner.
And then steals second base.
And makes a steal of second base to get in scoring position with the would-be tying run.
That's a good way to break into the game. You got to get your teammates pumped up to see you do that too, huh?
We've seen a couple of speedy freshmen on both sides today. McDermott, the second baseman for William and Mary, and Sam Hall, number 5 right there in your picture for the Tigers.
Well, it magnifies just the little things within a baseball game. You see a guy go, first to home and score, a guy steal a base in a pivotal part of the game. Just little things, little techniques that make a difference whenever you are determining a win or a loss.
Well, Brian Murphy obviously wanted the righty-on-righty matchup instead of what he had there righty-lefty, but by walking Bird intentionally, you put the potential winning run on base as well for Clemson. And Kyle Wilkie looking at strike 1, but obviously no one knows the staff better than the head coach of William & Mary, and he probably feels like Fletcher is a much different pitcher when he can attack a right-hander and not a lefty.
Yeah, you want the righty-on-righty matchup. Intentional walk, I'm not so sure. I think if you communicate the message of, hey, we just don't want to throw this guy a strike and see if he'll swing at anything, but it's obviously not the worst-case scenario. You want that right-on-right matchup just to give your pitcher the advantage.
Good job to go out there and get that one by Hunter Smith. So Fletcher, who will probably be in tight situations a lot in this his senior year for William & Mary. Has Hall behind him at second. Bird's over at first. And working the count to 2-1 is Wilkie. There's Patrick Cromwell waiting on deck.
This is a big at-bat. I think it's very crucial just to have the mindset of getting a single. A lot of times when you get in these situations, you imagine hitting a ball 500 feet and hitting the walk-off home run. All you need right now is just to get a hit. Give the guy at second base an opportunity to score.
On the right side, going to be a long run for everybody, and it's, as a result, going to get way out of play. That thing just kind of kept on carrying away from Tree Hub, the first baseman, the right fielder Hall. And the Tigers Hall will return to second.
Yeah, luckily it blew out. You got to rewind. It's a lot of pressure. These moments take a lot of energy. You just got to train your mind to deal with it and enjoy it. It's fun. It's fun playing baseball.
They say play ball, not work ball. By the way, a year ago, strikeout-wise, 19 in 28 2/3 innings for Fletcher. He'd obviously love one here with a 2-2 count on the Tigers catcher, and laying off is Wilkie. So, what you dream about as a kid, 3-2, bottom of the ninth, you're down by a run, but a chance to do something about it. And Kyle Wilkie, the Tigers sophomore from just outside of Atlanta in Cumming, Georgia, played at Creekview High in his sophomore season. Chance to make a big-time impact in the season opener. Here comes the payoff pitch, and we'll do it again.
Obviously, Pete, 3-2 count, 2 outs. Both of your runners are moving. As a pitcher, you're not going to give in. You don't just want to throw a strike. You want to make your pitch, and you want to make the pitch or the hitter have to go out and hit it.
Wilkie did not homer a year ago. He ended up driving in 5 runs. 3-2 pitch, skied on the infield, and actually behind home plate with the catcher Smith watching it go back behind home plate. The wind certainly a factor, because when that ball first went off the bat, it was up above, just inside the first base line, it appeared. There were a lot of backspin, but a pretty stiff wind blowing right in from right center field.
Yeah, you can see the flags blowing straight towards us. Probably a beneficiary of the wind right there. Usually you think about that as a ball blowing over the fence, but hey, take it on a foul ball.
So we'll do it again. I think a lot of folks here in the ballpark had their heart in their hands as that one originally was struck by Wilkie, who looks at ball 4, and the Tigers have him loaded. And keep in mind, all of this started with 2 men out and no one on. But Beer was hit by the pitch. Williams followed with a double. Jolly, a 2-run RBI single. The pinch hitter Hall came on, and with 2 outs stole second. Grayson Bird was intentionally walked. And now a 3-2 pitch for ball 4 for Kyle Wilkie. Bags are full, and Brian Murphy will make that call to the bullpen with his team in a big-time jam. And they will go to Wade Strain, a sophomore out of Burke, Virginia. And he will try to get the 27th out in this game and preserve an opening victory for a William & Mary team that took a scoreless game in the 5th inning and made it 3-0 when Ryan Hall hit a 3-run homer. And for all intents and purposes, that's the swing that chased the Tigers starter Jacob Hennessy, who struck out the next batter, then was lifted. Tigers getting their first run of the game at the bottom of the 6th. Bryce Teodosio coming home on a Drew Wharton sacrifice fly. But William & Mary again made it a 3-run game, building a 4-1 lead on the RBI double by Zach Pearson. That brought home McDermott, but here in the 9th, there's 2 Tiger runs delivered by Jolly and a chance to tie it or win it. Wade Strain, 12 games a year ago as a freshman, 2-1 record. You see the 16 strikeouts and 17 innings. And when you're a mid-major like William & Mary, granted it's the first game of a 3-game series, but you've got a Power 5 team, a team that's in the top 25, ranked as high as number 12 and one of the national rankings. And even though it's only February, these are the kind of wins, if you can hang on to them, that could make your resume look great as being maybe a third team or an additional team to get a bid out of the Colonial.
Exactly. And you want to capitalize on the opportunities you have. I think they had a great chance to win this game. Unfortunately, haven't made the plays late down the stretch. There's still a lot of game left and some pivotal points. But how would you like to be this pitcher coming in, inheriting bases loaded, 3-2, down by one or up by 1 run in the 9th inning? It's pretty difficult.
And because he doesn't have experience from the left side in his bullpen, the head coach for William & Mary, Brian Murphy, forced to go to a righty with the left-hander Cromwell coming up. Cromwell 0 for 1. He came up as a pinch hitter for Greenback in the 8th. On the first pitch, he hit a hard shot to the first baseman Treab, who fielded the grounder and ran to the bag for the out. But another opportunity here in a big situation.
You're right. Regardless, just a coaching philosophy, regardless of the right or left-hand matchups, you want to go with the guys that have been out there. You want to go with the guys who have experience and who you have confidence in, especially, leading off or in the opening game, you want to go with the guy that you feel good.
Cromwell will be the first one to tell you that his debut season in a Clemson uniform last year wasn't what he was hoping for when he came in from Santa Ana Junior College. The guy who was a third baseman and now primarily a first baseman, although he was inserted in the field in this game in third after he pinch hit. He is somebody who could be a big factor from the left side of the plate for this Clemson team. First pitch to him, taking strike 1.
Yeah, that's a good pitch. You want to come in here and throw strikes. There's a lot of pressure to get this out, obviously. And you just want to get that first one over the plate. Every pitch from now on has to be a competitive pitch that you're trying to get an out on.
Bags full of Tigers in this 1-run game. Bottom half of the 9th. Strain will step off. Smith in that previous pitch did a really good job of framing because you could see his lower body move, but his glove never did.
Yeah, you keep that mitt in the center of your body. You can kind of create the illusion to the umpire that the ball is inside the strike zone. Kind of an art for a lot of catchers.
0-1 pitch again. Cromwell, and he falls behind 0-2. Now Hunter Smith, third-year starter at catcher for the Tribe, will pay a visit to Strain. I guess having the last name Strain, if you're a pitcher, not really a great occurrence there. Strain as a pitcher, but he looks to be in good health.
Yeah, lively arm. I think this is a difficult situation because you got the bases loaded. You don't want to give him anything to hit right now. You're up in the count, but you haven't thrown a breaking ball yet. You're in the game. You don't want to spike one and potentially throw a pass ball. You really have to trust your catcher, and you really have to execute your pitches still.
Cromwell awaits the 0-2 pitch. Smith held it there an extra second longer for the review of home plate umpire Danny Everett, who didn't bite. 1-2. You saw Sam Hall, the runner for Clemson, over at third, the potential tying run there, and Grayson Bird with decent speed out at second. Cromwell gets one into the outfield. We'll keep an eye on Bird to potentially give the Tigers a walk-off to start things out here in 2018. Here's the 1-2, and Smith able to keep that one in front of him. Hall got about a third of the way down the line.
I thought it almost hit him in the foot, but that's a tremendous job to block that ball. I don't know if he could. That was an incredible block. Potentially save the game.
2-2, fastball or off pitch? What are you doing?
I think you're just going to have to go with a well-located fastball right now. I haven't seen a big breaking ball yet. You have to go with what you think you can throw for a strike. I would say fastball in on the hands like you started off with.
And that one gets away. Here comes Hall, and the game is tied. Bird moving to third. And Kyle Wilkie to second. Tigers celebrating. We're even at 4. Clemson coming off the deck down 3 runs down with 2 outs here in the 9th, but have rallied to tie it, and now a chance to win it.
Yeah, this one just slips away. able to score a run. Smith couldn't keep it in front of him. That's just a little hard. It's hard to block those balls with velocity that are down in the dirt. It just doesn't give you a lot of time to react.
So there is a base now open. Cromwell, though, with a 3-2 count. And he stays alive. Of course, he goes back to the top of the order, and Logan Davidson, who's singled in his previous 2 plate appearances, including the leadoff this 9th inning before he was erased on the double play that Wharton grounded into. And you see that time, Cromwell able to get it off the fist.
Yeah, still a big at bat for Cromwell. He's to keep his same approach. Just a single wins it. Just keep that in mind.
I jumped ahead of myself. It's actually Teodosio waiting on deck. And a swing and a miss, and we'll head to extra innings. Well, Cromwell standing at the plate at least saw the Tigers extend this game. Clemson was down 4-1 with 2 outs in the 9th, but we head to extra innings in a 4-4 ball game. So we go to extra innings to start out this 2018 campaign, and wow, what a rally for the Tigers in the home 9th. It started out great when Davidson reached on the leadoff single. Wharton worked the count, but eventually grounded into a double play. But then Tigers were able to reach. Seth Beer was hit by a pitch. Chris Williams got him over to third base with that double. Robert Jolly, who had not gotten a hit in the ball game and had struck out twice, then dunked one in the left to make it a 3-2 game. Hall, the pinch runner, the freshman for the Tigers, Sam Hall, gutsy move by Monty Lee to send him. Hall eventually made his way to third, came home on the wild pitch, and that tied the ball game. Cromwell had runners in scoring position but could not deliver the winner there, but the Tigers with new life, and now Riley Gilliam, the would-be Clemson closer, and this is what you do when you're in a tie game at home. You bring your closer in the late innings when you're tied. It could be the 9th inning, or in this case, in the 10th inning, and you see what Riley did a year ago.
Yeah, you want to keep the ball game tied right now. Give your offense a chance to put one more run up coming off that momentum in the 9th inning.
So those guys get to see some more baseball, and at least one of them is holding a glove, and that means an opportunity for more foul balls, which is something you're always trying to do. It'll be the top of the order for William and Mary, and Ryan Hall, the right fielder who did this back in the 5th inning. Boy, that thing just jumped out of here. Yeah,
he hit it really well. It's always awesome feeling to hit a home run, especially in opening day. You know, the crowd's always going to be packed, and you know, hitting a home run anytime is a pretty good feeling. But you know, Ryan Hall does have that power. You have to be careful, make good pitches, probably stay away from him, not let him get his hands out and hit the ball in front.
Tiger team that a year ago was just 3-16 when trailing after 7, so they're trying to get off on the right foot in that regard. In extra innings a season ago, the Clemson team was 4-1.
I think home field advantage plays a lot in these extra innings. It's tough to go on the road and win, especially whenever, you know, you start playing long innings and people are in the crowd cheering. It kind of seems like the home team gets the advantage a bit.
Of course, Tiger fans know all about the velocity that Riley Gilliam possesses, but you don't want to throw one too good to this guy Hall, because he can turn on it. Extra inning games a year ago, the Tribe played just 2 of them. They were 1-1.
Yeah, Riley's got a live arm, live fastball. I think the thing you watch whenever a guy comes out with velocity is they speed guys' bats up, and then you fall in danger of, if you don't throw that breaking ball quite right, it'll get the hitter on time and they could possibly run into one.
Gilliam those good strikeout numbers last year, but that makes the count 3-2 to Hall, who has some decent speed, so you don't want to put him on.
Yeah, you want to make them earn their way on base. Make them hit the ball, come out there, stay in the strike zone.
Payoff pitch, called, strike 3, drop one in there off speed.
And that is a devastating breaking ball right there. I don't know if you could hit that one. A good breaking ball like that, you know, practically unhittable, located in that area. And that just, in your mind as a hitter, you see a guy come out there and throw that pitch 3-2. It puts you in a bind because you know he can throw his fastball for a strike, and then you're throwing that breaking ball in a crucial count for a strike. It's hard to create an approach as a, you know, opposing hitter.
Brandon Riquet, the best hitter who returns from a year ago for this team. He was second on their ball club with a .337 average. Their top hitter a year ago was their second baseman Cullen Large, who was a 5th-round draft pick by Toronto. But it's been a tough start to 2018 for Riquet. He has struck out in 3 of his 4 times up, and now is behind here in the count, 0-2.
Yeah, seems Riley feels comfortable out there. Obviously a guy who's had experience before and is talented. He knows what he's doing and is used to pitching late in these ball games.
Swing and a miss. Tiger pitchers done quite a job. 13 strikeouts of William and Mary batters in the ball game, and 2 in a row to start things out of the 10th for Gillum.
Yeah, just a high fastball. This one clocked at 95 miles per hour. And it looks so good coming out of his hand, and then you swing, and it's by you. That's the heat, the high heat.
Actually now 14 strikeouts of the Tribe by this Clemson staff. Patrick Ryan, 1 for 4 in the ball game, and was just able to get a piece of that fastball. Well, as noted, Monty Lee of Clemson, Brian Murphy of William and Mary, the 2 head coaches, did once participate in a 27-inning ball game when Lee was at Charleston in the first season as the head coach for Murphy at William and Mary.
They're no strangers to extra innings. And hopefully this one doesn't go 27.
As Murphy joked, he's probably one of the few teams that's ever lost a lead in the 20th inning of play, which his team apparently did. Texas and Boston College played, we believe, 29 innings for the longest game all time, and Danny Everett says no. And in this case, we'll chalk it up to acting that just wasn't prime time for Patrick Ryan as we approach the prime time hour.
I mean, if you're going to get hit by a pitch, I would choose the breaking ball. 95 in the elbow doesn't feel good. I don't know. I don't know if this grazes him. It looks like it barely misses him.
Brian Murphy might have just noted the grazing part of that. First of 3 on the weekend for these 2 ball clubs, and Sunday's start kind of a different start time because there's a men's basketball game at 1, so it's a 3 p.m. ball game on Sunday. So we started this afternoon at 4, 2 o'clock on Saturday, and then 3 p.m. Sunday. Foul ball, so the 2-2 count.
Yeah, as a hitter right now, you have to do everything you can to get on first base. Pitching, obviously, you just want to keep coming after him. Riley Gillum, he knows what he's doing. He's been there before. He's going to try to throw strikes. Looks like he just slips up right there.
And in that situation, the balk will not apply. So the count holds at 2-2. With the cleanup hitter, Hunter Smith, on deck. And Ryan doing a good job to keep fouling off those fastballs.
You just want to have competitive at-bats. This game is very difficult. And if you just have goals that you can accomplish, just a normal goal you can go up there every time and put in your head, I'm going to go out here and compete and make good decisions, hitting and execute how I want to, you'll be successful.
Let's see if he can beat it out as the ball went all the way to the backstop. So, really bad break right there. Wild pitches, what they'll score, so give Gillum his 3rd strikeout of the inning, but in this case, Ryan ends up down at first.
Yeah, it's just a breaking ball down in the dirt. Just gets through the catcher's legs. I mean, very good breaking ball. And I mean, that's tough right there when you have a guy that has stuff that's so good. It's hard to keep that all in front of you. It's just a big breaking ball, probably the best it gets.
Now they changed the scoring from wild pitch to a pass ball against Wilkie. And here's Hunter Smith, the William & Mary catcher. Singled back in the fourth for his only hit in the game. He is one of the 14 strikeouts registered against this Tribe team. The only hitter who hasn't struck out is a good-looking freshman second baseman McDermott.
Yeah, that pitch didn't miss by much. He seems like he has good feel of both his fastball and his breaking ball. Throw him in a different count. That one wasn't far off.
So 1-1 with a man at first.
You just want to keep simplifying. You want to make the hitters earn everything they get. Giving guys free passes is the easy way out. You want these guys to have to swing the bat, especially when you have stuff as good as Gillum.
Throw back to first. Brian Murphy says his team may try to run a little bit more this year. Last season, really not an aggressive team on the base pass. 38 out of 54 as a team. Pretty good toss over there.
Well, a lot of your concern right now is that breaking ball in the dirt. You don't want that guy to advance to second base. If you're a runner on first base, that's what you're looking for. He has a kind of a tendency to throw that breaking ball that gets lost in the dirt, and that's when you want to advance.
Smith taking, count evens at 2-2, so a chance for that very unique 4-strikeout inning for the Tigers pitcher Riley Gillum. Two-two pitch. And we'll do it again.
Throws the breaking ball again. Good job just battling this off. You're just fighting at the plate right now, especially with a guy who throws so hard. It's difficult to, get your timing right between that fastball and the slow breaking ball.
Tigers playing the first of 8 straight at home to start out the campaign. 2-2 pitch. And that one almost caught the visor. So a full count. That'll put the runner at first. Patrick Ryan on the move with the delivery.
Yeah, the runner's going to be moving. You just got to get that ball in quickly. If you're a defender, especially in the outfield, any type of single that's not right at you, he's definitely going to go to third. And you don't want to give up a double where he could score.
3-2 pitch with a runner going in the air to left, but camping under it and putting it away is the Tigers left fielder Drew Wharton, and that'll do it for William & Mary here in the 10th. They leave a runner 4-4 here at Doug Kingsmore. Head to the bottom of the 10th inning, Bryce Teodosio, the freshman, 9th place hitter in the order for the Tigers, to lead things off. He's the only one who didn't come to the plate in that 3-run bottom of the 9th, a 3-run rally that occurred with 2 outs and no one on base. It had a promising start with the Davidson leadoff single, but he was erased at a double play, and Seth Beer, though, got things going, getting hit by a pitch. And eventually the big hit by Robert Jolly, and the freshman Sam Hall scoring on a wild pitch has us where we are. Teodosio working on a 1-for-3 game in his college debut, the former standout at Malden High School, hometown of Simpsonville, South Carolina. And a legacy as folks went to Clemson. So he's having quite a time as a freshman, just as a student. And now the baseball part of things really kicking in with the regular season. Evens the count is 1-1.
It'll be interesting to see just the approaches of these Clemson hitters. They had some success last inning, being patient at the plate, working the count to working deep counts, and it seems like they're trying to take that same approach now.
Off speed and strain on for a second inning of work. It was his wild pitch that allowed Hall to score to force extra innings, but then he got out of the jam by striking out Cromwell in the 9th, and that time Shows you he can change speeds. So Teodosio behind in the count 1-2. And he rips that one into left, and it'll drop for his second hit of the game. Played off the wall. Teodosio heads to second. He slides in there with a leadoff double here in the bottom of the 10th. So he got his first career base hit back in the 6th inning, a single. Now his first collegiate double, and the Tigers in business right off the bat here in inning number 10.
He's got some quick hands. He's able just to get inside of this ball and get the barrel to the baseball. And once he's running, he's not a guy that you want on the base paths. He can really move. When you're in a tie ball game, you don't want a guy like that on second base. He can score on a lot of different scenarios.
And he was really chugging, as you can see by the heavy breathing out there at second. So a guy who made an impact as a freshman a year ago, Logan Davidson, about to stand in for the 5th time of the game, his second from the left side of the plate. And his past 2 times up, he has reached on singles, a 2-for-4 ball game. Twice, though, he has been erased at second base. Double play. And earlier, when Teodosio was at third in the 6th inning and Davidson was at first, nobody out, he was picked off. Had a big swing at that one.
So you really want to understand the little things in the game right now. You have a runner on second base with no outs. If you're Logan, being a left-handed hitter, you're not bunting. You want to pull a ground ball to the right side of the field, allowing Teo to advance to third base. With 1 out, all you have to do as a hitter is put the ball in play, and you score the winning run.
And Davidson again chasing the off-speed pitch, falling behind 1-2.
Yeah, this is a good pitch right here. Now your approach just changes. Right now you just want to make contact, hit that ground ball to the right side of the field, allow the runner to advance and take it to the next guy. It's a team game. You want to just kind of generate 1 run.
That one's going to get out of play on the left side. A lot of folks have hung around. We had what appeared to be a capacity crowd to start things out.
Got some excitement late. You never know what's going to happen on opening day. You just don't know.
Opening day and extra innings. That's kind of just seems like an extra treat because you've been waiting for baseball to get here, and now you get extra baseball. There's never anything wrong with that. It's even better, of course, if you can win the game as a result of the extra baseball. Tigers with all the momentum right side. That'll move the runner over. McDermott throws on to first. Out number 1, but the Tigers now with Teodosio at third. And here comes Drew Wharton, scheduled to bat, and he will stand in. And as you were noting.
Yeah, as you see, Davidson right here, extremely productive at bat. Now you have a guy on third base with 1 out. The infield's going to have to play in to keep this guy from going on a ground ball. All you have to do as a hitter is just either get a hit the ball in the air, or your holes in the infield are bigger because the infield's in closer, so a ground ball could easily seep through.
Wharton delivered in this very situation for the Tigers back in the 6th. Teodosio on third with less than 2 outs. His sacrifice fly at the time made it a 3-1 game. Last time up with Davidson on first and no one out, though, the 6-4-3 double play. It looked like that might have put the Tigers in significant jeopardy of coming away with a win. And he gets ahead in the count 2-0. Seth Beer waits on deck, and don't think that's not playing into the mindset here of the William & Mary team, particularly their sophomore right-hander Wade Strain.
Yeah, they're going to leave this game for either Wharton or Chris Williams to win. I highly doubt they come at Seth, but you know right now you're behind in the count. You don't want to make a pitch that he could hit. He's not going to swing right now. I would just stick with your breaking ball, or stick something that you're really kind of confident that he's not going to put the bat on, and just turn the page if you throw it for a ball.
3-0 pitch, taking strike 1. And we saw them put the potential winning run on base when they intentionally walked Bird in the 9th. If Wharton's able to reach with Teodosio staying at third, do you go ahead and walk Beer and put that potential winning run at second base?
Intentionally?
Well,
hit him.
About to find out what they're thinking. The hit by pitch, second time a Tiger has reached, and it was a hit by pitch that Beer took that got that 2-out rally going in the 9th. So perhaps that play right there with Wharton portends more good things for the Tigers here in the 10th.
And you have Seth Beer coming to the plate. Obviously, we know how dangerous of a hitter he is. I couldn't imagine you coming in and pitching to him, especially at this part in the game. You got to go with Chris Williams, great hitter, but this is going to be a storyline that plays out throughout the year. How are these guys going to hit and protect Seth Beer? If they start being productive, it makes this Tiger offense extremely dangerous.
And the guy at third, Teodosio, pretty good speed. So frankly, Beer, who has won games in this situation with bombs out of the park, he just a chopper on the infield will probably do the trick.
You just want to hit the ball. I don't think they're going to pitch to him. That's my opinion. Right here, they're putting him on.
There you go.
And this also, you got a runner on first base with one out. You open up the potential to get a double play. You got Chris Williams, probably not the best runner, and then Seth Beer at first, power hitting guy. You could turn a double play if you get a ground ball, so it's not all bad. You already got the force established and one out. You could potentially get out of the inning, but as a coach, you can't let the other team's best players beat you. You live and die by letting those other players beat you.
Well, Seth Beer knows what it's like to see this happen, the intentional walk. Overall, a year ago, he drew 64 walks and double digits in terms of the free passes being done intentionally. So that loads him up. So for William and Mary, obviously a force at every base, but Chris Williams now, who, again, a guy who is a catcher, doesn't necessarily have catcher speed, maybe slightly better than that, but is a double play candidate, and that's the best hope at this point for the Tribe to try to extend this game. But a prime opportunity for Williams, who is having himself a good season opener with a single and a double, and he looks at strike one.
Yeah, he can handle the bat. And I feel like this really plays into his skill sets. Here he takes a ball, over the plate, but he wants to get something up, something that he can elevate. Worst case scenario, he flies out to the outfield. That still gets the job done, especially with Teo's speed.
Count evens at 1-1.
It's so hard right now as a hitter just to stay within yourself. You don't have to do too much. And I feel like when you play and when you're in this situation a lot, you kind of can grasp that idea.
And 1-2 the count, and Williams earlier in the game fouled one off his right leg. I don't know if that caught near that spot again.
Yeah, just got a little fooled, but your bat's not over. He's an experienced player. He can take a breath, step out, and all you need to do is execute.
Strained a year ago in 17 innings, 8 walks, so pretty good control. Ahead here, 1-2. And that's popped up left side. Ryan, the third baseman, giving chase until he sees it land on the roof of his dugout.
And this is a similar spot that Strain was in last inning with throwing that ball in the dirt. He's got to be playing a little bit in his mind. He probably wants to keep something out of the dirt just to guard himself from the potential of that run scoring without them having to put the ball in play.
Potential winning run at third. Tigers with the bags full on a hit by pitch and intentional walk after Teodosio got there, and the count evens at 2-2 to Williams. We noted in the 9th inning they walked Birds with a potential winning run. Well, obviously the potential winning run was already on base when they started putting guys on, which was the thing you've got to do in this situation, because you figure had Wharton not been hit by the pitch, they probably weren't going to give him too much hit anyway and just as soon put him on base to set up a force. 2-2 pitch, hard shot, and that's going to do it. Teodosio scores. Williams delivers the winner, and the Tigers come off the deck. Down 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th with 2 out. They tied it up, and here in the 10th, they open up 2018 with a walk-off win, 5-4 over the Tribe.
What an awesome win. Just a lot of excitement at the end of the game. I think the offense really came alive. I think there's a lot of great things we can take away from this, but just getting comfortable, having those guys come out here and perform in a pressure situation, really is exciting. You can tell the guys are super pumped up. What an at-bat by Chris Williams. Along with the rest of the team, a lot of guys came in and played pivotal parts in this victory.
Chris Williams, his third hit of the game, and his first RBI of the season, and it comes at an opportune time, delivering an opening win and snapping a 4-game opening day losing streak for this Tigers team. What a way to start 2018. A team that's still growing. Kyle, been a real pleasure. We'll go at them again tomorrow at 2 p.m.
Yeah, Pete, see you tomorrow. Appreciate it.
All righty, the Tigers off to a 1-0 start, coming back in the 9th inning, forcing extras and winning in 10, 5-4. See you tomorrow at 2 p.m. For Kyle Parker and our crew. Pete Hannity saying so long. This has been a presentation of ESPN.